What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Bare Minimum from Four Star Chicago Sports. I'm a barely awake Dustin Jones. That's a barely awake Brandon Duplessis. But we're glad you're here, and we're here to do the show, and we're gonna have some fun, and
Yeah.
we're gonna talk Bears because, yeah, that's what we're here for. We appreciate y'all. Let's get it going, Brandon. Be back in a second.
Windy City banners rocking 4 stars aligned. Dynasty dreams rise, Bulls in their prime. Cubs curse shattered, the victory divine. Fields be running, clock ticking on my timeline. Shot town heroes, legends never fade. Black Hawks flying, cutting ice with the blade. White Sox diamonds, the South Side parade. 4 stars shine bright, legacies they made. Mike with the crown, air rain, no dispute. Sweetness in the backfield, Walter in pursuit. Bear down Sunday's midfield, battles cute. Chicago.
Brandon, you ugly piece of shit. I gotta look at you at 11:30 at night. What's up? How
Oh,
you
poor baby.
doing?
You better deal. How you better learn to deal with it by now.
Oh, poor baby. Vizzo Joe is already here.
I'm all right,
And
man. How are you? Besides tired, because I know that's what you are for sure.
I am fucking great, dude. I got some creatine in my drink. It helps with like the neurocognitive shit when you're feeling sleep deprived. Ant Mass checking in. John S. What up, y'all?
What's going on,
Um,
guys?
we're
Thanks,
gonna
thanks
change
for being
the
here, fellas.
episode. We're gonna change the title of this episode to the Barely Awake podcast. We've already decided that. But
Just now.
man,
We just decided right now.
Monday night was a lot of fun. We were at River Street. Shannon says, "Goofy dude." Yeah, that's me, dude. What up? Good to see you, Shannon. Hey, Shannon. I've never seen your name before. I'm glad you're here. Let us know what you want to
What's up,
talk
Shannon?
about. That's for you, Shannon. Appreciate you, boss.
What's
Throw
going
some
on?
questions in the chat. You got anything you want to talk about? We'll be here for it. We were at River Street. We did a watch party. We did a little bit of a live podcast, and then we watched the Bears come away with this miraculous, un-Bears like win for the second game in a row, where like the things that needed to break their way broke their way versus going against them. It was an up and down game, man. A lot of back and forth. Bears got up big, multiple turnovers, but then they gave it up. Started to be like look like what we kind of thought it would be. you know, I'll say this: I was the one of us four on or five that made predictions that picked the Bears to lose. I did not see how they were going to establish the run and stop the run, and then that's exactly what happened. I would say that was one of the keys to the game, that the Bears were able to establish the run more so than the Commanders and really do a great job of shutting it down, minus some big runs from Jaden Daniels, man. So, I'll take that. I was happy to be wrong about that, man. Jake Moody field goal to win the game last second. Bears managed it perfectly. And, they caught a break with Jaden Daniels giving up the ball when all they had to do was salt that clock away. So, what do you want to get into when it comes to like reviewing that game and then kind of transitioning into next week's game or this week's game at this point? Sorry.
Well, yeah. Let's start with the Jake Moody thing. 'Cause, I mean, we can kill that real quick. You know what I mean? I thought he played a fantastic game. I really did. I mean,
Mhm.
his blocked field goal was really on him. They said it was a super, super low.
And you felt like he was going to have something like that happen in that game. At least I did. And I'm just glad it wasn't on the
Well,
last field goal of the game.
but I wanted to say more importantly, man, I don't know if it's Richard Hightower, if it's Ryan Poles. I would imagine it's Ryan Poles. I mean, you signed a guy a couple of weeks ago. You ended up needing him. You know what I mean? He's on your practice squad. You pull him up. Your kicker's injured. This guy comes in and doesn't only kick 4 field goals in his first game ever
It's
here, man. I
game
mean,
winner in
that
the
in its
rain.
own, that in its
Yeah.
own is a pretty big feat. You know what I mean? And who's to say he doesn't make the one that's blocked if he actually gets it up? So, like, I mean, it's a hell of a game for a guy who's playing his first time as a Chicago Bear and on the road, man. I mean, that's on the road. Like,
And
so
again, that
my
a
hats
game
off to
winner in
my
the rain,
yeah,
man, in the
yeah, dude.
weather.
I mean, everything. Yeah, it was just and like you were like, okay, they got the ball pretty close, but Ben, you had so much time to get like 10 more yards. You know what I mean? Like he let the
I
time
felt like it was close
when he
enough for a play.
decided he was running the time off the clock. It was like, oh, you sure you don't want to just because Swift is just running it
Gashing.
down their
He was gashing.
throats. You sure you
Yeah.
don't want to take like another 6, 7 yards here? But I looked at you. I turned to you in that like we were talking about it as this moment is approaching. We were both sweating it, and I said to you, "This guy's a professional kicker. He's in the NFL, regardless of the moments that he's let his team down and the kicks that he's missed. If you give him a chip shot,
It should be good.
I
It
have all
should
the
be good.
faith that he'll be
Yeah.
able to make it. I mean, he's been making some deeper shots tonight, so it's like, and yeah, man. I don't. So I said this to you guys after this game, and
Moody got the game ball, by the way. Moody did get a
yeah,
game
oh
ball
yeah,
from
of
Ben
course,
Johnson.
yeah, of course, and he deserved
And
it.
he might be kicking again this weekend. And real quick, man, sorry, you're about to get in something, but Shannon, I told him to throw something in there if he wanted to talk about it, and he said if we win, y'all think we should make a trade. Whether I think we should, I mean, if you get to 5-2 after the Saints, and obviously this team is in need of some pass rush help. I don't know what options are out there really. I don't know that Ryan Poles will. I don't know that that's something that's in the plans for this Bears team, to be honest, in terms of giving up future assets for a player now. But it's something I would consider, considering that this team could end up being 5-2 and have an opportunity to really push for the playoffs.
I forget which writer it was on ESPN, and I'm really sorry to say they kind of all run the same. You know what I mean? Feels like you're
They all
reading the
run
same.
together.
Feels like it feels like you're reading the same guy every time you read anything. But he wrote it was like 15 trades that would benefit potential playoff teams. He had trade regardless of where he had these players going or what team wanted what guy. He had he clearly had Trey Hendrickson's value as a second round pick. Like that's what the Bengals are going to receive.
If they even
Is
trade
that
one
is
tonight,
that well yeah, right. Of course. They'd have to
defense.
be willing to. They gave him
Yeah.
they gave him a franchise tag, right? Or a 1-year deal or something weird. I don't remember what happened. But clearly they didn't commit long term. So like I don't think that it's out the window. I think that's kind of why they're implicating there's a possibility there. So would you
I
trade
mean,
him?
a
I
second
guess
round
the
pick.
question is,
Yeah,
would you
fuck
do
yeah.
it? Would you
Yeah, I
do it?
would. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would do that because I
When I
mean, but the
saw
guy
that, I was like,
is
man,
31 years old. He's 31 years old, but he's a damn good pass rusher. He would bring you something to this team that you don't have currently, which is a guy who can beat one-on-ones consistently and beat double teams and consistently get after quarterback and would probably make Montez Sweat better too. So yeah, I think that would be totally worth it because that's a type of player that changes your defense pretty instantly.
yeah, and I was
I don't know that
surprised.
that's in the cards though.
I was surprised to see that how like not a first rounder, but then you got to think, man, it's the same thing as Montez Sweat. You're trading for a guy that you then have to pay a lot of money to because this guy has been offered
Yeah, is that like a
some
Keenan
pretty big.
Allen 1-year rental thing? Like, I don't know that you want to do that. And
No, you're
you know,
not.
a
No, you
pass.
better not do that. You're not
Yeah, yeah.
investing draft capital into a player that's here for 8 games, dude. Not a chance.
And the other thing about that,
You
man, is
can't be that GM.
how much money are you going to tie into your defensive ends with between Sweat and Dio right now? You know, that's a guy you're paying like 37 million a year just between those two.
Yeah, I would
So like,
imagine the running back and edge right now, as right now, guys, is real early. We're talking about 5 weeks in, but 5 weeks in, I would say those two positions will be highest on their board in regards to draft needs.
oh yeah, I kept saying 5-2. Sorry,
Edge, the
but
running
the
back.
Bears would be
These are
going to
clearly
4-2.
these are
I want to
clear.
correct myself real quick. I kept saying 5-2. It was be 4-2. They had a bye. They just went to 3-2.
Yes, 4-2. They would have won, and they would have won those 4 games in a row.
4 in a row, yes. John S. says I'd be calling the Titans about Simmons. I would love Jeffrey Simmons, but I don't see that. I don't see the Titans moving from that guy. I'd be shocked, but I would have been shocked if the Parsons got traded. So,
Amos says Giants pass rusher. Lord, I hope, Amos. It'd be nice to take one of them from them before we play them.
But the Giants, that's their biggest strength, and I
And
don't
everybody
think
keeps saying
they're
what
not
I
in
don't
a rush
understand.
to move anyone. I think
Well,
they have one more year with Thibodeau after this
and I
year.
don't.
So I
What I don't
mean,
understand is the name that I've heard speculatively is Dexter Lawrence, which is like he plays
one
a
of the
different he
best.
plays a different role than the other three.
He's a
The other
nose
the
tackle.
other three guys are like the same guy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like the Brian Burns, Thibodeau, and Abdul Carter are all kind of like lean outside linebacker, but can play in the dirt. Hand in the dirt. They can play
They're damn
defensive
good
end.
pass
All
rushers,
yeah.
Brandon. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're edge
and then
rushers. That's what
and
they
then
are, man.
Lawrence is you're the only the guy in the middle who's held it down for like the last 6 years in New York, dude. I don't know why you would trade that guy of as opposed to one of the other
I
three.
don't think New York would trade any of them, to be honest. I think it's the strength of their team, and they know that. And I don't know what
Yeah, but
what
what if
their
they what
and
if
their motive would be to trade anyone. I mean, Brian Burns is having a damn good season. Abdul Carter is coming along. He's on a rookie contract. I
what if
think he
they
got
keep
one more
losing?
year on Thibodeau's rookie contract. If you keep losing, I mean, what's the trade deadline? Week 8. So I mean, like, how much are they going to lose by then? I think they've already outperformed expectations as far as I'm concerned up to this point. And then Dexter Lawrence, like you just said, he's a nose tackle. He's probably the best nose tackle in the
Oh, I
league.
don't think they're going to trade him. That
No,
doesn't make
fuck no.
sense to me. When I see his name in these trades, these rumors, that
Never
doesn't
say
make
never, man. Once you see Micah Parsons get traded, it's like never say never. But like, it wouldn't make sense to me.
I'm Vizzo Joe. I am 100% in agreement with you on that. 100%.
Shannon says November 4th deadline. Thank you, Shannon. Simmons is definitely a better player than Henderson.
It's a
to me.
tougher position to find a dominant player at.
But let me say this:
he's more valuable to me.
I think the Bears need an upgrade at the edge far more than they do at defensive tackle. I think Javon Dexter is playing really well this year, man. I think Javon Dexter is would I want to have someone else?
I thought Chris Williams had a good day.
Chris Williams played really well on Monday, but he's not the guy you're banking on, Brandon.
He's athletic, man.
But between Javon Dexter and Shamar Turner, who we'll talk about, who got all of his snaps at edge, but he's going to continue to go inside. He's going to move all around. That's why they drafted this guy, because of his versatility, and where they need him is where they'll use him. I think defensive tackle, the Bears are far more set than edge. So I don't know how much you give up for a Simmons guy, especially when Javon Dexter is kind of coming into his own right now.
I don't know. I don't know, Dustin.
He is.
You don't have anyone like that.
No doubt. Jeffrey Simmons is
that guy makes a
one
big
of
difference.
one.
This Bears team, other than the Washington game, has gotten pretty beaten up front. They could use a guy like that.
I would say this. I would ask you this question: what do you think they need to upgrade more, the edge or defensive tackle? You trying to replace Dio or supplement, or are you trying to replace Javon Dexter? I don't think it's really close in my mind.
Well, I think
what are you more willing to give up draft?
I think you're definitely hurting. I think you're definitely hurting more at edge. I agree with you on that. But I also think, like, if you can get a pass rusher in general, like a guy who can rush the pass on his own, and Simmons is that. That's why he's special.
He pushes the pocket for sure. And if you could add him with Dexter, then that's kind of scary.
Make a guy like Sweat play, because I've never looked, Dustin, at Sweat as a multiplier. I've never looked at him like that. I'm sorry. People call it like the Tez effect. He made their defense better when he was acquired. Well, he had 6.5 sacks on the Bears when he was acquired. That's why the defense was better. You know what I mean? He was creating pass rush for sure. I don't know that he made everyone around him. I don't know that he made everyone around.
I don't know that he's ever going to be able to, man.
I think Simmons is that kind of Shytek.
You need a player like that. You need a player like that
guy.
sure.
Yeah.
J2K checking in as well.
I love Simmons, man. He's one of my favorite players.
Yeah, he's a mean motherfucker too, man. J2K says, would you guys trade DJ Moore and Andrew Billings for Jeffrey Simmons? Yes, I would. I would do that.
What was it?
He says, would you guys trade DJ Moore and Andrew Billings for Jeffrey Simmons? The cap would work out. DJ and Simmons have similar contracts. I don't think you think twice about that, personally. I mean, Jeffrey, you have a guy in Luther Burden that's just sitting there who's not being utilized enough. And once he starts getting used more, you're just going to want to keep him on the field. And DJ Moore is the older receiver of the three, and he's a guy I believe is expendable. We've been saying that all offseason, man. So yeah, fuck yeah, I would make that trade because Jeffrey Simmons is another guy who changes your defense for sure. And if you pair him with Dexter,
one thing I want to say is I talked about early in this season is like you obviously want to see what you've got in not only Luther Burden because he's a rookie, but Rome Odunze. You wanted to see him in his second year. And Dustin, me and you anticipated a big year for Rome, but after that rookie season,
he was the best receiver on his team.
There was a lot left to be desired after his rookie year. You just saw that he had it. You know what I mean?
What was to be
equate to his season statistics, but you just saw the physical abilities. The things in college translated pretty well.
What was to be desired was the ball. What was to be desired was the ball getting to him, but because he was open all the time.
Yeah, and Luther Burden, guys, has not played a lot of football, but he looks pretty special to me. And I'm trying to be unbiased here, but what do you do with DJ Moore? What is DJ Moore's ultimate ending? What is DJ Moore's ultimate ending on this football team?
I mean, hopefully,
I don't. Justin, is there another option?
Is that a question or no? Is there another option for what?
Other than trading DJ Moore, eventually, ultimately, at some point, what's your options?
Well, the thing is, right now you have Rome on a rookie contract, you have Burden on a rookie contract, and you can have one of the best receiving corps in the NFL if you hold on to DJ Moore and Burden continues to blossom and Rome continues to assert himself.
No pressure so then,
exactly. So there's no impetus to trade unless you are getting something back. What you're getting back in that trade proposal that J2K just said makes me say yes immediately.
Yeah, it would have to be something. It's obviously like on the return because DJ Moore is a valuable player.
There's no rush to trade DJ.
DJ Moore makes the Titans' offense is immediately better with DJ
Moore is part of a three-headed receiving group that can be a part of a Super Bowl caliber offense with Ben Johnson controlling it and taking a little bit of time for everybody to figure each other out. A year or two from now, that's what this offense can be.
Ben's trying to get the ball into DJ's hands no matter how he has to, for sure.
And he's a damn good player on the field. And he played hurt, as Vizzo's pointing out here, and then went to the hospital and made sure that we got the win. I mean, he's a tough motherfucker. I have never questioned, as many people have been in here questioning DJ Moore's commitment to the team or his energy level towards winning, his
body language,
giving
up
kind
of shit.
Me and you have gone back and forth on that for a year, Brandon. But I've never given up on DJ Moore in that regard, and I've never questioned it. And he showed it on Monday night. That needs to be stated. He played injured. He did not come off the field, and he made sure the Bears got the win. And he helped however he could. He was blocking on one of the last plays of the game to make sure that the team got the win.
I mean, you're kind of contradicting yourself.
In what way?
You said you never thought it was an issue, but Ben Johnson addressed it.
How am I contradicting myself? No, I don't. I 100% know that he addressed it with every player in the building.
This season, it's not a problem. Well, I think it's because Ben Johnson fixed it. I think he was kind of allowed to do because there was no coaching on this.
No, I don't know that it was what he was allowed to do. I think.
Listen, I'm not trying to dog
the entire locker room was toxic.
I thought his body language was shit, and I love DJ Moore, but I'm watching a football game and I'm judging DJ Moore.
I didn't contradict myself
like I am any other player.
So.
I would have said any other player if I saw the same body language from another player on another team. I would have said
no shit. But I never questioned his commitment to the team. I never questioned his commitment to the team.
No, I don't either. I think, and you can. I mean, DJ Moore continuously puts his body on the line. DJ Moore is a guy who's going to go out, stretch out for a ball for you, knowing he's going to get murdered. Like
we got Shorty in the building.
That's commitment in itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
he doesn't quit on those balls when he knows a big hit's coming his way. Yeah, there's no you have to respect DJ Moore for sure.
Let's just say hi to Shorty real quick.
What's going on, Shorty?
John S says
thanks for joining us, Shorty.
John S says after the game, OZ I'm expecting Luther to get more snaps and balls thrown his way. It might be hard for OZ to get back on the field as much as he has been. Yeah, no, I mean, we've been kind of waiting for this. I expected it to be a slow play with Luther Burden, but he's earning more reps, and Oz seems to be letting him go with his play. So I would love to see that. I think if all those snaps become Luther Burden snaps, this offense is much better than it is with OZ.
And I think
Ben needs to just trust Luther Burden, and Burden is earning that.
And John,
game by game.
And I also think, if Luther Burden's stepping into that third role where he's getting, his snaps are increasing a little bit, and you still have Zacchaeus, taking a lesser snap kind of in the Luther Burden role where, you've seen Luther Burden on the field like 1/5 of the time. I think Zacchaeus will still play an impact on this football team. I still think he'll catch the ball on this football team if he's playing that number.
Yeah, but I would like him to be the guy that's rotating in, not the guy who's getting
that's
the
what I
most
mean though.
snaps
But that's what I mean though. But
that should be Burden.
You still 1 to 4. You still have a really solid group.
100%. And Vizzo says right here, we finally got a wide receiver room that's worthy. Why would we trade him? And Shannon's answer is the answer that I would have if the scenario J2K proposed is available and Simmons is available. What is the return that you're getting? Because you have all these assets in the receiver room, so that's where you can spare some at places that you're more deficient, that you don't have as much talent. And if you can get a supreme talent at a position of weakness for giving up a talent at a position that you're really strong at, that could make sense. It depends on what you're getting back. I do want to ask the chat, man, just like, because we want to review this game a little bit. What did you guys think was the biggest takeaway from that game? Throw them out there. Let's talk about it as me and Brandon are talking about it, because, me and Brandon watched it together. We were in a bar. It was loud. A lot of people yelling and screaming. Again, lots of ups and downs. But my biggest takeaway from that game, man, was what I started out with. The fact that the Bears were able to assert their dominance in the run game. And what I saw in the run game that was different than what it has been these first few weeks, Brandon. A lot of pitches, getting Swift moving, catching the ball. The way that they designed the runs was completely different than what they've been doing, and it worked really well to Swift. And they got these offensive linemen moving in space too, with a head of steam to get some blocking. Darnell Wright down the field. I mean, that made a huge difference to me. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that as the season goes on. And it might just unlock DeAndre Swift, because we've been saying this for a year and a half now, man. Like, he should not be running between the tackles. Get him outside in space. And once they do it, he has the best game of his fucking career with the Bears.
Yeah, he had, and we've been talking about this for how long, Dustin? And I love that this team finally figured it out. But like, it is.
John S agrees.
It makes you ponder a little bit why it took as long as it did. And I thought Monangai had a big impact too. I thought
5 carries. He had 5 carries, but yeah.
I thought DeAndre Swift benefited from Monangai a little bit. I do, which is funny to say, because Swift is the guy having the big day. You would imagine if anybody, it's like, well, Monangai had some open space because Swift was putting this defense on their heels. But I don't know. I thought we've been talking about.
They did a good job spelling Swift with Monangai with those runs.
In the moments, in the moments when where you needed somebody like Monangai. And I thought,
and even when there weren't run plays, Monangai stayed out there and was in pass protection.
And I said to you guys, there was a play, man, where there's a drive where he came out and started the drive behind Caleb, which I have never seen before. I don't think the Bears have.
Yeah, that was like the second drive of the first quarter, I think, Brennan.
Yeah, and the defense loaded the box, and I thought immediately, well, it's a first down. Monangai's they're running the football, and they threw it, and I think it was an incompletion or something, but he was a decoy for sure. Ben threw him out there early in the drive
because the defense expected them to run. Yes,
it was very much, because I just assumed when I saw him, this is a run. So you can use running backs to help DeAndre Swift, even if they're not the most effective guys in the league. You know what I mean? We've been talking about that, Dustin. What it does for Swift to not be a 3-down back. The guy's getting his ass kicked. Even in the game, he succeeds. Even in that Washington game, he was getting pretty beat up. So
yeah, DeAndre.
my hat's off to Swift, man. A rain game, and that's when the game
Averaging
he decides.
7.7 yards per carry, 7.7 yards per carry in that game, 14 carries, 108 yards, no touchdowns on the ground, but he did have the receiving touchdown that was obviously huge in that game. And we're going to get to that in a little bit when we start talking about Caleb. But I mean, just the fact that they were able to run at such a high yards per carry clip against that Commanders defense in a game where I thought it would be the opposite, I think that really set the tone and created the opportunity for the Bears to win because they were never really out of it. I think the Bears have to do a better job of capitalizing on turnovers when they get them. Now, obviously, that last one they were able to capitalize on in a major way, but when you get those turnovers early in the game, you got to put a team away. Like they just let the Commanders hang around, man, and that was concerning.
And let me, so what you just said, well, I want to say a couple of things, man. First off, I said before that game, what if the Bears' identity is just doing whatever they need to do to win a football game? What if until Ben Johnson has the roster he wants in place and the playbook he has established entirely top to bottom, because that Detroit team took a little while to mold and develop. What if until he gets that, this team's identity continues to be we do what it takes to win? They needed to run the football in a rain game. They did. If they did not run the ball effectively on that last drive, Dustin, I'm scared they would not have moved the ball.
The Commander, well, they might have gotten the field goal, Brandon, but they would have left a lot of time on the clock for the Commanders to go do something after that.
Right.
They milked it down to nothing.
You got to control it. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
But they did they ran and you know what, man? Late in that game, the pass rush did make a few big plays. They got Jaden way deep in I think it was like a 9-yard loss. I mean, so like they're doing what they need to do when it matters. I don't know. The pass rush was very ineffective all day. You kept pointing it out, Dustin. They're leaving these gaping lanes for the
they gave up the lanes
quarterback
for Daniels
from the best mobile quarterback in football besides Lamar, and they're doing this. And then at the very end of the game, that's when you see some pressure. That's when you see some pass rush. That's when you get a sack. Yeah. And so this team just looks like they're going to do whatever they got to do, man, to try to win some football games. And I like that. I like a team that's got that.
Winning ugly while you're figuring out who you are. That's a big bonus, man, for sure. If you can win 3 games in a row while you're still you still don't know what your identity is yet. You still haven't figured out how you're going to establish the run. You still haven't figured out how to use all these weapons and get them involved and how to truly tap into Caleb and Dennis Allen calling this defense and figuring out when to bring the pressure and when to settle back and getting players back like Kyler Gordon and TJ Edwards. That was huge in that Monday night game. And you still got Austin Booker on deck. You know what I'm saying? So there's more things that you're going to be adding to this as it goes forward and finding a way to just win a game no matter what the fuck it takes while you're still figuring those things out. You can't quantify how important that is. You can quantify it in the wins, but how much better are they going to get as they continue to figure themselves out and add more pieces to this, Brandon? That's what you start to think about when you're talking about that.
And I do want to point this out, man. And I've said it on the show before. I do think it's important. The Bears have had some fortune on their side because you played Dallas, which is an egregiously bad defense, no matter who's playing them.
But Lamb goes out.
Every offense in the NFL can beat
in the first quarter. Yeah, Lamb goes out in the first quarter.
Lamb goes out in that football game. Then you play Vegas. They have no major injuries, right?
Bowers has been done since that knee injury a week or two before the Bears. So I mean that was kind of a help there. Bowers had no impact on that game.
But then you play this Washington team, and they're missing McLaurin, and I think I think the dynamic of McLaurin and Debo makes them kind of special. One of the guys alone is the
It's
same team it's
not as
been
good. Yeah.
all the years before.
And if one of those guys that's alone is Debo and not Terry, they're actually not as good because Terry
No,
McLaurin
yeah.
at least is the deep threat down the
Yeah,
field.
and he's
you
got
know.
age on his side for
Yeah,
sure.
Debo was very ineffective in that game, and he was questionable going into that game. So yeah, they have had some luck, and that's what
And
Shannon
there's
is saying
more,
right
and
here.
there's more on the way. You're going to play a Joe Burrow-less Bengals team. That's huge. You're going to play Joe Flacco when you play the Bengals.
Yeah,
That's
and
a
Flacco will start
huge-
turning the ball
It's
over.
a huge difference.
I know
It's
he
a
balled
huge
out tonight,
difference.
but he will start turning the ball over. Lamar Jackson is going to be just coming back from that injury in his first game against the Bears. So I mean, that's going to be interesting.
The Giants don't have Malik Neighbors, guys. I'm just saying. I'm not saying like, oh, that takes a team from unbeatable to beatable, for sure. What I'm saying is like the Bears are capitalizing on the fact that these guys are missing these players because the Bears took Debo Samuel out of that. I said to you, Dustin, during that game, they have just completely eliminated the wide receivers in this football game.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
Nahshon Wright gave up a couple of big plays to that Moore kid, but outside of that,
well, and they gave up the big
they
play to
just
McCaffrey.
they show well, yeah, and then that's what I was
The
going to say too.
touchdown. Yeah,
I was going
yeah.
to say too, the worst play they had because I thought the
It was
Moore
a blown
catch,
coverage.
I thought the Moore catch was pretty good catch. I thought the kid in the end zone made a really good play on the ball, man. Because I thought he was out of bounds when he caught it, but he got his knees. He's got his knees in. But yeah, no, I mean, Luke, you can't do that. Somebody forgot about somebody.
Kyler Gordon let him go and thinking
Yeah.
there was somebody that was going to pick him up on the back end.
Yeah,
but it
Gordon
just
had a
didn't
rough
happen.
game.
You can't.
But
but
I
at
will
the same
say-
time, Debo did not have an impact in that game, and
Yeah.
Gordon was on him a lot. So
And I'll say this: the Bears showed that the team they were playing the receiving core was inferior to them. Like these guys are not good enough. Because their secondary is talented, and as long as the Bears can exploit these teams' weaknesses where they have these injuries, like they have done, they can put themselves in position to win these football games. And it's
Right.
huge when a team is missing a player like McLaurin, man. It's huge.
yeah. Listen, I asked the chat what their takeaways were from the game, so I want to get to some of them. Vizzo says, I was hoping Caleb had a better game and we would have won because of him. Hopefully Sunday that will be the case. Shy Tech says, they said Washington run defense outside the tackles was giving up 5.5 yards per carry on the inside, much less. Yeah, like 3.5, something like that. So the Bears attacked that, and they ran those pitches and got DeAndre Swift moving when he was getting the ball, and that's how you utilize his strengths and you maximize that. So I thought that was great. That was my biggest takeaway from the game, just the complete change in how they established the run game and how they executed it.
Dustin, real quick, I want to get to this because I forgot to say. You said something. You said the Bears should have put him away because they got those turnovers. They had good field position.
And they've been not doing that lately.
The Bears have
everybody.
not been capitalizing when they're taking the ball away. Well, they're getting field goals pretty consistently, but
yeah, you got to score touchdowns.
It feels good to know that you're a team that should be like you should have dominated. Because if somebody said in that we was supposed to blow both the Raiders and Commanders out because, yeah, those are games that you could be very well could be in the first, second quarter up by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, and you should have been. That's part of figuring it out.
And this team is early in the process. If you're a team by the end of the season
that figures that out,
taking the ball away at that rate and scoring touchdowns,
you're going to be beating other teams. Yeah, for sure. John S says
the future is bright for sure.
We hope this could still go a myriad of ways.
That's what I'm saying. If that's the result, a team that's taking the ball away and scoring touchdowns.
John S says, nice to see how well Theo played. Yeah, I mean, he still had some issues in pass protection, but he was great.
He had some help too.
Yeah, well, he needed
that game.
He needed it for sure. I mean, it's his first start at left tackle, so I mean, yeah, he needed it. But he performed pretty well. I'm not gonna say he was an A. I thought he was an A grade.
Run blocking,
was
great.
Yeah, run blocking, he was a solid B, a C plus, C in pass protection.
I just wonder, the only thing
hopefully he continues to get better. Darnell Wright was fucking awesome. Darnell Wright was great. No penalties, was out there kicking ass, man. Darnell Wright was great, like a top 10 pick in that game.
This was Darnell Wright's statement game.
Mm-hmm.
You could make a 10-minute highlight video from Darnell Wright's performance in that football game. That guy was making 2-3 blocks per play on some of those runs.
Did you see the?
He is so. I mean, Ben Johnson. He's a physical freak.
No, he is, and Ben
It's
Johnson wants
just-
to utilize him that way, and that was a huge part of how this run game got going. Getting him in motion in front of DeAndre Swift, that's got to be scary if you're a linebacker trying to take on Darnell Wright with a head of steam and DeAndre Swift right behind him with a head of steam. Like, that can work, and it can work consistently. Darnell Wright needs to be utilized in that way. With that athleticism you're talking about needs to be
Yeah,
utilized
not a lot
more.
of tackles can move the way he moves, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty unique. I will say this, guys. I want to say this. I thought Benedict did a great job. I really did. I was impressed. I was really not just like, oh, this guy's definitely better than Braxton, but like, this guy's actually playing a really good game of football, a clean game of football.
What's up,
I don't
Phil?
know the penalty. Some people say it wasn't. Some people say it was. Just get up on the line, man. Don't leave room for a penalty. You know what I mean? Don't leave room for someone to throw that flag.
Yeah, it's such a ticky tack thing, man, to
but-
pull a touchdown away from Rome.
Yeah,
a
from
fucking
Rome,
great catch.
which would
That
have
pissed me
which
off.
would have
so bad,
continued
man.
his streak of games with a touchdown. That
And
annoyed
it
me.
should have. It should have. You don't
Yeah.
call that. Nobody's coming to see you call that fucking that
But
penalty.
I do wanna
Nobody's
say-
coming
I do
to the
want-
game to see you call that penalty. That's
I
ridiculous.
do want to say this. Wait to evaluate Theo Benedict. Like, wait till you consider him to be a future part of this Bears team. Wait to see him play some edge rushers. You know what I mean? Some
No,
Max
I don't-
Crosby's, some guy. This Giants football team. Wait till you're playing guys like.
I'll
those.
say this. I've been
If he
saying it,
holds
Brandon.
up. If he holds up when teams like those come,
I don't know that he will. I think he's going to need that help that you were talking about. And
Of
I'll say
course,
this,
yeah.
and I've been saying it.
and he is a
I don't-
rookie theoretically.
I don't think this left tackle position is solidified yet. I still don't feel confident in it. I like the way he played, but I still could see changes, at some point throughout this season. I don't know that he's doing enough to establish himself as that. He's obviously better than Braxton Jones, which, thank God for that. But I could still see changes being made at that spot.
Yeah, I mean, he'd have to start because he played it's a pretty good game of football, pretty good showing, man. So he's going to have to start doing things to show that he needs to be removed.
He is the most impressive player on this Bears team this year in terms of
He's
the
clearly
work that,
working his ass
in
off.
terms of the work that he's put in to just bring himself up the depth chart, just drag his ass up the depth chart.
He jumped 2 people.
Yeah. I mean, that's
3.
one of the
Once he took the starting job, he jumped
it's
3.
one of the best stories in the NFL in terms of a guy just coming out of nowhere and being a starter on a charter franchise in the NFL. Like, that's a testament to him. He is busting ass, and I got nothing but props for him. I hope he continues to do so, but I think he has limitations physically that, you would prefer a little something more at left tackle. But if he can compensate for that with his work ethic and his mind for the game, you see players do shit like that all the time, man. So,
Well, and is Roshar having just a major impact on this kid?
he's having a
Sometimes,
major
guys,
impact on a lot of these guys.
Sometimes, guys, that's just what it takes. Honestly, it is. And I know I'm not saying it's a miracle. All the players on the Bears that weren't all that talented are going to be standout players now. That's not like what I'm saying is some guys have to be in the right situation. You see it with quarterbacks because it's obviously it's so apparent. You know what I mean? It's obvious to see. Like when Jared Goff or Sam Darnold or Mac Jones go to a place and they start to play better football, you can see the impact the coach is having on that player. With an offensive lineman and guys like those, you might not see it as easily because you don't really notice those guys to begin with unless they're playing really bad football.
Well,
What if Theo Benedict throughout the course of the offseason actually got something out of Roshar is known for doing this with bottom draft picks, man. This is what he does.
and what Benedict is a prime example of is that what the Bears were saying all offseason is factual. The best players are going to be on the field, competition, whoever
player
performs the
development,
best and
yes, we
and practice.
preach that.
Yes, 100%.
Player development.
That stuff is Benedict is a shining example of those things right now for the Chicago Bears. So again, it's a great story, and I'm fucking happy for him. Hope he continues to perform. the tackle position looked more solidified in that game than it has all season. That was the best game by the offensive lineman, especially in the run, obviously. So let's carry that into this week against this Saints team. That's all I'll say. Just continue to design the run game the way you were on Monday night, Ben Johnson, and I think you're going to see a lot more of that same success because I think these offensive linemen really love moving forward, and especially getting out in open field and getting a chance to fucking put a helmet on somebody, man. I think they love that.
They're all just fit guys, like a little, almost slightly even undersized in weight. They're just fit, athletic guys. You could definitely get a really effective run game out of this offensive line. Ben's just got to figure it out.
And the other thing with that is the screen game. The screen game, we talked about it going into that game too on Monday night, Brandon, and like the designs were great. You had like the fake reverse handoff, and then a flip back to Monungai, and that could have gone to the
great game.
But the screen design in general was not like predictable like we've seen in the past in Chicago. We hadn't seen Ben Johnson really bust it out yet up to this point.
The blocking was designed much better.
The blocking was very well designed, and I think you're going to see more of that start to get sprinkled in. And I think the development and addition of Burton into this offense more and more every week can be a big part of that too, man. So I mean, I'm excited to see how this offense continues to develop and grow, and I think that kind of leads into the Caleb aspect of this review, and then kind of going forward, man. Like, what did you think of Caleb? I guess first, let me ask you this, because this has been a big topic of conversation, and we were talking about it earlier today. Troy Aikman analysis of Caleb Williams on Monday night, fair or unfair? I'll just ask you that way.
I really saw Caleb's response. I didn't really get to hear everything.
Fair enough, Shannon. Fair enough.
I didn't get to hear what did he?
We were in the bar, so the volume was not really. We weren't.
We didn't get to hear much of anything really, but I heard Caleb's response. What exactly did Aikman say?
Well, I mean, it was more of just like never really giving him credit throughout the game, I guess. And more
I thought he clearly likes Jaden Daniels a lot. That's very apparent. It seemed like a bias to me in regards to how positively he spoke of what Jaden Daniels accomplished versus what Caleb Williams still needs to prove. It was like, wait, these guys aren't in very different
Except Jaden Daniels went to an NFC championship.
Well, yeah, no, their records. That's the thing. Is their records? One guy won, one guy didn't. But it's not Caleb's fault. The Bears weren't winning football games last year. The team was terrible. They all quit.
But at the same time, it was on Jaden's back that the Commanders were winning football games, Brandon. So Jaden, up to this point, has established himself more as a dependable and really kind of hard to stop quarterback in the NFL than Caleb Williams. It's not really close at this point, Brandon. I don't think that's debatable. When you carry your team to an NFC championship, you earn some gravitas that you don't earn going 5-12 and getting sacked 68 times.
I agree, but you also do have to account for this, man. And a lot of people seem to kind of like Caleb Williams put the Bears in position to win a lot of games they didn't win. So, like on the final, Caleb Williams to me has been doing what he's done this season in the final drive. How efficient he's been. He's been doing this since he's been drafted. The guy has been really effective in game-winning drives, either final drives or the last couple of minutes of a football game. Ben Johnson said himself, he was born for this moment, and it seems to be the case, man. He seems to play really, really collective when he's playing late in games.
No, he's definitely cool, calm, and collected, and you can see that in his play. And I'm not arguing that, Brandon, but results are results, and it's not. And Jaden has up to this point performed better as an NFL quarterback than Caleb Williams. Now, whether or not that lends itself to Troy Aikman's critiques of Caleb throughout the game is a completely different thing. What I will say is this, Brandon. We didn't hear a lot
I would have to know exactly what
we didn't hear a lot of what Troy Aikman said, but I was saying throughout the game, Caleb's decision making in this game has been questionable. his accuracy has been concerning. Brandon, I kept saying that throughout the game, yes, because that's
Yeah,
what
you've
we
been
were
saying
watching.
that since the
Yeah.
season started, man.
Oh, yes. Okay, so is it unfair then for Troy Aikman, who it's his job to analyze, especially the quarterback position, given that he played it his whole career in the NFL and played it really well, went to the Hall of Fame? I mean, you could throw out his stats. We've talked about that, but it was a different NFL then to me. That makes a difference. But the guy won Super Bowls and played well in those Super Bowls. It's his job to analyze the quarterback's play. That's his main job. So is it unfair of him to do that in a game? I don't think so.
Well,
And I especially when some of the stuff that he's saying, I kind of felt the same way throughout the game. Like there was a lot of meat Caleb left on the bone in this offense on Monday night, as you just said, has been the case all season up to this point. That's just the truth.
it looks like to me he just the most egregious thing that I see he said is luck on Chicago's part. That's why they won the game. I guess that I don't see
Yeah,
anything
that was
I don't,
that.
I don't see anything directly related to Caleb Williams. I
No,
don't,
it was just
it is
when
his
Caleb
job.
was missing throws, he was being hard on him. From what I heard, it was and certain throws like the Zacchaeus drop was the placement of that ball
It's
was
his job, Dustin. He was a quarterback in the NFL. He's calling a game with two quarterbacks in it. It's his job to be able to assess and evaluate those players' performances throughout the game. That's what he's there for, to tell you what they're looking at, what they're calling, like everything all the things they
appreciate you,
dive
Short.
into throughout a game regarding each position. When they start to tell you know what they do, they pick a player out and then tell you his background and all the things. But you have to try to do so without bias. And I think that was the biggest criticism of Aikman after Monday night's game, that from at least the national standpoint, not
Well,
Chicago's, is that he kind of loves one guy and is
let's get into this
overly critical of the other.
because it seems like what lent itself to that. To me, I think there's something behind this. Is when Caleb was asked about it, he told the guys about a pre-production meeting. You know, you always have these with the analysts that come to town. And Caleb said he was at Hallis Hall late. He was working late and didn't get to Troy Aikman in time. And then he called him, and Troy Aikman didn't answer. And the way I envision that is like they had a time set. Caleb blew it off, kind of, right?
If he called after the time,
then he knew he needed to be there for a certain time. And then when he called, Troy Aikman was like, fuck this guy. He doesn't value my time. Is basically what happened. So like they never had that meeting that was said. And that to me would lend itself to a guy, this dude, in terms of his professionalism. I could see that 100% because Troy Aikman does this every week. How many times does that happen? How many times have you heard a quarterback say that? Or, that I just didn't make the pre-production meeting. Like, it's important for a guy like Troy Aikman, whose focus is the quarterbacks in the game, to get a sit down with these guys leading into the game.
Well, yeah,
I guarantee you he got it with Jaden Daniels.
Every single game, Dustin, every game of football I've ever watched in my life, the commentator or at some point says, when we met with him on Friday night, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's an important part of their broadcast.
Sure. Yeah, of their analysis of a team, I'd say even. And they want to know, it's not just about Caleb. You want to know what Caleb thinks of Ben Johnson. Like you're asking the quarterback a question on everything because it's his job to know. You know what I mean? That's why it's important you meet with those guys. Yeah, no,
Well,
and I don't.
Shorty.
And listen, man, I think this: if I am Caleb Williams and Troy Aikman, a Hall of Famer, a former Super Bowl winning quarterback, has something to evaluate, has an analysis of me, is critical of me, I'm probably gonna listen very closely to what it is he thinks I need to do. You know what I mean? Like if he's saying, "Oh, he's struggling with this, he needs to get better at this," I would take that very seriously. It's Troy Aikman. You know what I mean? The guy did it. Has a ring. So like, I would imagine. I don't know that Caleb though is upset with Troy Aikman. I don't want to blow this thing.
No, I don't think that that's the case at all. And
they called it a feud on the article I was reading.
People are just trying to add fuel to a fire, and I think it's well overblown. And I'll say that I agree with that. But I don't think that a fan base should be. I think that how much Caleb has been dogged by national media and fans in Chicago up to this point in his career makes supporters of Caleb super sensitive to him being criticized or critiqued. And Shorty says here, what do you say here? We have no reason to criticize Caleb so far in year 2. I got to criticize is a strong word. Critique, want more from him. I think that's okay. He's your number 1 overall pick, and he's completing 61.5% of his passes, Shorty. So him missing throws is affecting this offense. It is keeping it from being as explosive as it can be. And then, you got guys that are having some drops too. There's multiple things that go into it. But if Caleb isn't looking at the throws that he has missed and saying, how can I be better there to take that into the next game and not miss that throw, then he's not doing his job. And he's got to be critical of himself to improve.
And he was
to continue to get better.
After the game, he was very critical of the throws he missed. So,
and he should be. That's what any
professional quarterback Mark Brody said
does.
Anytime he's ever asked Caleb Williams about things that he needs to continue to work on with Ben Johnson, he says it's always been very kind of vanilla, like footwork. I got to get better at footwork. And then they're like, oh, what do you think you're doing well? And he's like, I think my footwork's been better. So like he says he was just kind of like throwing an answer at him. He said he was very surprised when he asked Caleb this time, like, what do you think you did poorly? Caleb said, I'm missing throws. And he said, when I'm on the move, which is surprised. Caleb said it's surprising me because that's what I've done best my whole career. It's, you know what I mean? It's the improvised stuff, the throws outside the pocket. He's missing on those, man. And he said that he's aware
maybe
of
that tells you that you can work within the pocket a little more.
And maybe that tells you guys that Ben Johnson is telling him those things. These are the things you're not doing well, man. You know what I mean?
Listen,
where you don't know you were getting that from a coach before.
Caleb is playing really well, but in this type of offense, man, I think you need a closer to 70% completion. Obviously that's what Ben Johnson wants if that's the goal he set for Caleb Williams. And right now Caleb is well short of that, and he's got to be aware of that. I'm sure he's aware of that, and he wants to improve that. He needs to improve that. I'll say this about that DeAndre Swift play because that's been being talked about in the chat. Last year, Caleb does not make that play. Caleb holds the ball for much longer than he needs to in that situation and tries to make a big play down the field and win the game with one throw. That's what Caleb does last year as a rookie. This year, he took the easy pass to DeAndre Swift, got the ball in the hand of his playmaker, and his playmaker made a fucking play that got you back in that game. That throw, I mean, I don't care if it was a 7-yard throw. That was the right throw in that situation. He made the decision quickly, and he got the ball out of his hands, didn't take a negative play, and it could have been a 7-yard throw, and that's all it could have been. But DeAndre Swift is a playmaker, and he turned it into a fucking house call. And Caleb needs to trust his guys to do that, and he needs to get the ball out quick. I really think that's the key to this offense for the rest of this year and going forward, Brandon. I want to talk about this a little bit because that play was huge to me in the development of Caleb Williams. I think that was my favorite throw of his, just in terms of the decision-making and how quickly he just got rid of it and let his guy make a play.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's Ben Johnson's forte. I think that's what he does. I think he's talked a lot about Caleb Williams being a point guard. He did a great job in that football game, and especially Dustin, like
yes,
you said,
they have shy text,
and especially with the weather, the way it was, you had to get something on the ground. You had to get success in short, quick passes. We talked about it before the game. You're going to have to get the ball out of Caleb's hands quickly, especially when that rain started coming down. The only pass he threw on the game-winning drive, the last drive, was to Colson Loveland, and he threw the ball almost immediately. It was a short curl run.
Mm-hmm. It was just 5 yards down, quick hitter to get the first down and be done with it. Loveland went down as soon as he caught the ball.
Yep. He had the awareness. He just kind of stayed on the ground, and
that was smart, efficient football
with the wet ball. But yeah, Dustin, I thought they got the ball to Luther.
Wet balls.
Wet balls.
They got the ball to Luther Burden. Yeah, I mean, listen,
And he made
there
and he
was
made a play, man. They got the ball in space, and they got some blockers in front of him. And he made a play. And this team, it's pretty remarkable, man. I mean, we talk about these things week in and week out. Like these are things the Bears need to try to. This is their fort. These are the things they're good at and should be over anyone else. Like they have these yak guys, they're loaded with the yak, and they could win a game if they have to by just getting the ball in these guys' hands. Caleb doesn't have to be a hero in any
no.
way, shape, or form.
And that's where Caleb will hurt this team and hurt himself if he continues to try to play hero ball and win the game with one throw.
But you
and
do
hold
want
the ball too long, and instead of just taking what the defense gives you.
But you do
That's
want
why I
Caleb-
love that play, because he took what the defense gave him, and that was that. And it turned into a huge play because you got to trust the playmakers on this team, as you said, Brandon. Yak monsters, get the ball in the hands of these guys quickly.
Well, and
get the ball out
especially-
quick.
and Dustin, especially if that's what the game requires, if we're talking about situational football, circumstance, if that's what a rain game requires, that's what you do. If you get to get the ball into your playmakers' hands quick, and not, you know what I mean. And I mean, you want to utilize Caleb's arm. There was a big play in that game he missed. He missed
Roma
a big throw.
Dunze running wide
missed-
open
yeah,
for
he
a
missed a
fucking
big throw.
touchdown, and he
So
ran
you
it.
want Caleb's eyes down.
It's an RPO, and he
this is
chose to
something that
run.
the Bears will live or die on Caleb. I mean, you still need this guy to be a big time quarterback. Ben Johnson wants big plays in this offense. Caleb's gonna have to be a good quarterback to do that.
Let's say this. I mean, Shorty jumps in. Vizzo said if Caleb doesn't work out, Ben will find a QB that will. Caleb needs to win us games, not win with us. Shorty said this. Vizzo, Caleb is winning us games, and he should have won us much more last year if not for coaching. That's the point you were making earlier, Brandon. He's proven to become a clutch QB when the game's on the line. 100% agree with that.
He's playing his best when it matters most.
Shannon says Caleb is not winning us games. Well, what would you call not turning the ball over? That's not losing the game, right? You're keeping the ball in possession for your team in order to get the score. No, let me say, Jaden Daniels turned the ball over when his team had the chance to ice that game and finish it. Caleb Williams did not turn the ball over, Brandon. Caleb Williams managed the game well, and he made the plays when they needed to be made in that game. As you talked about, the pass to Loveland, just quick and easy. That quick pass to DeAndre Swift, let your guy make a play.
Yeah, his awareness was really,
much better,
really good,
much better.
Yeah.
His decision making was questionable in the first half, man. It got better as we're talking about when the game got tighter and it was on the line. Caleb did not make the mistake that cost you the game, which it turns out won you the fucking game. That won you the game, not making the mistake to lose you the game, Brandon. That's the point I want to make with that.
And he made the throw to Rome. I thought it was a great throw. Rome's catch was far more impressive, but it was a good throw. He put a ball in a place where the best contested catch receiver on this football team could get it, man. So, but I get what Shannon's saying.
He also threw into double coverage a couple times to that
There's
guy.
two types of
those
players.
weren't good throws.
There's players you win with, and there's players you win because of. And I don't
Caleb
know
is supposed to be the guy that we.
I don't know that Caleb.
Of.
And I agree with you, Shannon. I don't know that I'd say he's there yet. I do still think he's. I don't want to say like I'm not already looking towards Ben looking for another quarterback. Like I still think Caleb can be that guy. I think he's progressing week by week.
Who
knows what the guys? Again, if you're looking at like Jared Goff's first 20 games with Ben Johnson as his play caller versus Caleb's, their statistics are not too far off from, you know what I mean? Like Caleb and Ben and
I'm confused by that comparison. Are you talking about Caleb's had 5 games with Ben Johnson up to this point? So are you talking about Caleb's first 20 games in general?
Yeah. No, 5 games. His first 5 games with Ben Johnson and Jared Goff's first 5 games. Sorry, their first 5 games with Ben Johnson. The statistics aren't too. I think Caleb has slightly better than statistics than Goff did. Imagine what this kid could be with Ben Johnson in 2-3 years. He's progressing every week, and he is fixing. Now, Dustin, there's things that he needs to get better. And accuracy is just all on Caleb. That you're the only guy that can fix that problem. But he is fixing the things that a coach can fix. You know what I mean?
And I mean, the Ben Johnson effect is showing. The Bears are 10th in the league in scoring, 25 points in a game. They're scoring a touchdown more per game than they were scoring last year per game. So I mean, that has been the difference in these wins and losses, right? Like that extra touchdown is how many one-score games were you in last year? So can
and
that
this
continue to be the difference?
and
And
I
how
think
big of a part of that is Caleb? I think he's a damn big part as he continues to
and
develop
wasn't
in
he
this offense.
and guys, I think they said he was the only Bears quarterback to have 200 plus yards and a touchdown in his first 5 games of his season, right?
What was that?
Didn't it say at the end of that game he's the first Bears quarterback to have 200 plus yards and a passing touchdown in every game of the first 5 weeks of the
Yeah,
season?
and up to this point,
Yeah.
11,
So I mean
1,000
that's so the Ben Johnson effect can be seen in Caleb Williams as well as it can this football team in its entirety.
up to this
Just
point, 1,179 yards. He's averaging 7.4 yards per attempt. That's okay. 9 touchdowns, only the 2 interceptions. Quarterback rating of 98. What concerns me, man, and will continue to until he cleans it up, is that 61.5% completion percentage. Because if that just gets up to 66 or 67, imagine how many more big plays you have on the field. And imagine how many more points that leads to. And Shannon keeps talking about the red zone struggles, you know what I'm saying? But the Bears have to find a way to get in the end zone. And Caleb continuing to find completions is going to be a big part of that. And I think Ben Johnson knows that. Ben Johnson wants that. And I just really think you got to be preaching to Caleb. And I've said this all offseason. I'll continue to say it. Get the ball out to your first or second read. Just get it out. Get it in the hands of these guys. Let them go. Get the screen games going. Get the screen passes rolling. Get those pitches to DeAndre Swift. That run game will be his best friend. And then you can start to get the play action out of that, which will lead to easier completions for Caleb. I really think it starts there. Brandon, I think it's crucial that Luther Burden gets more involved in this offense going forward, and that the ball is in the hands of these guys within 5 to 7 yards, and those can turn into the big plays until you start establishing the run enough to where you can keep beating the team over the top with the play action. Caleb is having a tough time, making the decision on these deep passes still. His completion percentage has been great this year on deep passes.
I agree with Shannon as well on one thing. Like he's regressed from his rookie season to now in the red zone. When the field gets short for Caleb, he struggles. Like the 2-point
penalties played a big
conversions,
part in that.
I never feel good about 2-point conversions on this football
When the
team.
field gets a little tighter,
So I mean that's something you're going to see. Ben's got to fix that because last year, Dustin, he was really effective there. Remember, last season Caleb was really good in the red zone. That's where he played his best football was in the red zone. So
except the Bears didn't score a lot of touchdowns.
You want to see him get back to being effective when the field gets shorter. That's not a trend you want to exist for much longer, man. I have no doubt that Ben's going to figure that out, guys. I mean, it's not even just so much as about Caleb as it is this Ben Johnson's going to make an offense that works, guys. And
he'll make one that works for Caleb. That's the key.
And right now, Caleb is not the reason it's not as good as it can be. I'll tell you that. There's a lot of moving pieces.
Shorty says, we are watching what you just preached in real time. Enjoy the process. I am enjoying it. Brandon, I was jumping up and down like a madman at that game on Monday. I could not have been more happy.
You were pretty excited, yeah.
I could not have been more happy to see the Bears come away with that type of win. I'm an old school.
You did not have much faith in Moody coming up.
I've watched him lose the Niners games.
Yeah, you're jaded.
And of course, and I said before the game, I'm going to be very nervous if it comes down to a last-second kick from Jake Moody, and that's exactly what the fuck it came down to. But he delivered. This Bears team does feel different, guys. I'll say that, and I'll say that. And I want to say that you feel like they're going to find a way to pull it out. And I'm an old school guy, and I'm good with that. I don't give a shit how you win if you win. And if Caleb is my quarterback for those wins, then he's doing his fucking job. That's what I'll say.
I said this to you, Sean and Kyle, after the game. It was important that you guys heard it. I remember Sean was so busy. Sean was kind of walking away, and I pulled him back. Guys, the shift that you're starting, like you always have this feeling as a Bears fan, and I assure you guys, this is not normal. There are fans of teams that don't get this. You get this gut feeling that the Bears are going to do something to lose a football game
To kick you in the balls.
when it's coming
Yeah.
down to the final
Yeah.
minutes. And I'm starting to, like, week by week after that Raiders game, and now I'm starting to feel like I can let go. You know what I mean? You don't need that we're gonna fail feeling. Obviously, you're
Yeah,
gonna
you
get
can
the
let it go
nerves.
until it happens again.
You're gonna get the nerves. You're naturally gonna get the nerves, but the expectation that the Bears are going to fail and lose a football game is something that I think Ben Johnson is gonna eliminate pretty quickly here, man. I really do. I don't think you're gonna.
Listen,
That's not gonna be what you expect this team to do.
the Bears have won 3 in a row for the first time since 2018, I believe, with Matt Nagy, his first year. They have a chance to go to 4 in a row against a very beatable Saints team at home. Has it been pretty?
Which
Has
is
it
huge.
been perfect?
The
Yeah,
Saints
it's
Stadium
huge.
is a
Yeah,
tough
you can go
stadium.
to 4-2, win 4 in a row. And I mean, there's a lot of people out there saying, well, you could be 1-4. And as Shannon's pointing out, Geno Smith threw 3 interceptions. You won by a point. Jaden Daniels had the fumble at the end of that game. You won by a point. You won.
Well, and I wait, hold on.
So,
And I wanna
like,
talk-
let me just make this. Let me just. God damn it, Brandon! I was about to make a point, and now I lost it. Go ahead.
I'll give you a sec if you need.
No, it's fine. Go, man.
I wanted to dive a little deeper into Jaden Daniels, man, and because, like, Caleb has lost every game to the quarterbacks in his class leading up to that Monday Night Football game, and a lot of critique, heavy critique over the Ryan Poles decision, and fairly so, Dustin. A lot of critique over Ryan Poles' decision not to really do his homework on other quarterbacks, because obviously after their rookie seasons, people thought the general consensus was, not just by Bears fans, guys, by the national fan base of the NFL, Jaden Daniels was the best quarterback from the class. And obviously that's impulsive. I mean, I think GMs give quarterbacks 3-year evaluations, so we don't know which guy. Drake May could very well be the best of all these guys. We still don't know. We won't know for some time. But they were definitely criticized for not doing their homework on Jaden Daniels. And here we are, Dustin, a rookie season removed. We're a quarter of the way into 2025. These guys played each other again. Caleb got his first win against a quarterback in his class at this point of his career. Do you think, and especially since Caleb's gotten a new offensive system, a new coach, do you think that Caleb has shown that he's progressed more than Jaden Daniels has progressed? Not that he's been better than Jaden Daniels, but Jaden Daniels turned the ball over to lose that football game. He did. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like you said, they had to just run the clock down. That was it. The game was over. I felt pretty at that moment. I felt, okay, the Bears lost this football game. They need a first down, really. They need to force you to take a timeout. They need to force you to take a timeout, and then this game's over. So him dropping that ball gave the Bears hope. It kept them alive, man, and that's huge. That's huge when you're talking about these.
I don't think that fumble speaks to progression or lack thereof. I think Jaden Daniels played a good game, and he made a mistake.
He did. He played well, and I thought the touchdown to Moore was kind of a toss-up, and then the touchdown to McCaffrey. I mean, good on him for seeing it, but that's about as easy as it gets, man. But he did play a good game of football. There was a moment there in, like, the third quarter where he was really starting to roll, and I was like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Are we about to get last year's Jaden Daniels? Is this the moment this guy breaks out?
It felt like that's what was happening for sure.
And it didn't. The Bears kind of put a cap on it, but then he dropped the football, and I don't think that it's fair to say, even to this point, that either one is better than the other. But I think you should feel better today about having Caleb over Jaden Daniels than you should have when these guys met last season.
Well, how much of that is Ben Johnson, though? It's a
Well,
lot.
does it
A lot of
matter
that has
though?
been.
Is
No,
is
it
Caleb still the
does.
most talented guy? He just needed the right
Well, Caleb was
situation.
drafted number 1 overall because the Bears
Yeah.
thought he was the most talented guy, and I think a lot of teams in the NFL did. So, I mean, that's going to start to show itself. But also, the knocks on Caleb are still showing themselves in the NFL too. So his progression is coming, but it's also still showing with a lot of those blemishes that need
Well,
to
all
get
of them.
cleared up.
Every one of
Oh,
these second year guys is
yeah,
still
but we're
making their
talking
mistakes.
we're talking about Caleb, and Caleb within this offense needs to be more efficient. He needs to be a better decision maker, and he needs to be a quicker decision maker. That has to happen. So if you're talking about his progression, he's obviously progressed drastically from last year. Jaden Daniels came out with a bang and went to the NFC Championship. So it looks like regression from Jaden Daniels right now versus progression from Caleb Williams, but they started out in two very different places. I think both guys are playing very well. I think Caleb's progression though, and these wins and how they're happening, that all comes down to Ben Johnson changing the mindset and the culture of this team. That's what that comes down to for me.
Right. Where last year Jaden Daniels won because his coaching was better than our guy was bad. Our guy was bad. We just gave them a shot for no reason. We just allowed them to put themselves in position to throw that Hail Mary pass. No other coach in the NFL would just allow that. So, and that's the thing that bothered me about Aikman's statement. That bothered me. I don't like what it. Again, if he was overcritical of Caleb Williams, don't take that to heart, Caleb Williams, or don't take it personally. Take it to heart. Listen to what he had to say, and work on the things that he thinks he should be better at. Because I don't think the guy's trying to like sabotage Caleb Williams' career. I certainly don't think that. But I mean, I don't know, man. Caleb is overly criticized by everybody, man. He is, and he's always going.
And that comes with being the number 1 overall pick, and it comes with being the guy that Caleb Williams is too. Caleb Williams don't help himself, and I don't think he gives a shit. He is who he is, and he's fine with that. But that brings in more criticism too, just him being the person that he is.
Who do you think played better on? I guess this is the thing that started to bother
me. Real quick,
me.
Brandon, Shorty, you're not being a downer, man. We appreciate you. We were sorry. We're still sorry about your dog. I'm sorry to hear it, man. I hope it goes as smoothly as it can. And yeah, man, the Bears and these things here, us communicating like this and just having an outlet, all that stuff helps. Condolences to you, man. And
for sure,
yeah,
sure.
As we said last week, it's like it's losing a family member. So we feel you, man. We've all been there. We've all been there. It sucks.
Yep.
Don't worry about it, man.
It never gets easier, but it's always worth it.
Say what you need to say.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Never gets easier, Shorty, but it's always worth it, I feel. Oh. You know what I mean? An impact that a dog can make on your life, especially when you're young, man.
Yeah, no, what you got to do is hold on to the positive.
Celebrate
the way that your dog impacted your life in positive ways and the fun times that y'all had. Just like when you lose a person in your life, like you just got to hold on to the good memories and keep them alive that way, man. That's the only thing you can do. And sucks that we all got to go at some point. It sucks, but we have these moments to share with each other, and those memories, keep that person spirit alive.
I guess
didn't mean to get all spiritual.
No, for sure. And Shorty, we're feeling for you, man. That sucks for sure. Feeling for you, man. Oh, yeah. Like I said, man, time heals wounds like those. Not much else, unfortunately.
I hope at some point you feel okay to get another dog, Shorty. I do. Because you'll remember how much better it made your life, how much joy it added to your life, and it's just a part of the process.
And there are a lot of dogs out there that need a home. So
yeah, man.
If you're willing to.
You're not bringing the show down, Shorty.
There's a lot that could be rescued.
Yeah, man. This is life, man. We all got problems and issues.
I guess
the point I wanted to make, Brandon, before you fucking cut me off, I just remembered it. Okay, A lot of people are out there saying the Bears could be 1-4 based on the fact of how they won that game against the Raiders, how they won that game against the Commanders. It could have gone either way. Yeah, clearly so. But the Bears should and could also be 4-1 if they had not collapsed completely in the second half against the Vikings team that they had beat. So that conversation can go both
Double-digit lead
ways.
in the fourth quarter.
At the end of the day, a win is a fucking win. You don't take away the success of this team because of how it's happening. And Shannon was in here in the chat doing it, and I get it. You're a Bears fan and you want to see this team play better, but at the same time, there's something to be said for just getting into the trenches with another fucking 11 dudes and clawing your way to a win, whatever the fuck that is, whatever that is. If it's a 1-point win or if it's a 20-point win, a W is a W. So I'm excited that this team has found ways to win ugly, because I think it's just going to get prettier in Ben Johnson's offense. I really do.
And like you said, Dustin, I think it's important because we have so many examples of this, even outside the Chicago Bears organization, every team in the NFL. Usually, guys, when you're getting the new coach and the new quarterback and all these things in place. Now, I'll say the exception's been a little more the majority as of late, but usually when you get these new pieces in place,
but we still got the W's.
You see a team losing games while they're figuring out who they are, when they're trying to establish their identity, develop a culture. These teams are usually losing games when they're early in the process and a new system, a rebuild, if you will. And the Bears are winning games well without an identity. They don't even know who they are yet, and they're winning football games. So I said, right,
bonus,
I keep saying, their identity right now, because they don't have one yet,
we just find a way to fucking win.
Yeah, whatever is required of us, coach. If you need us to run the football, the offensive line's up there, the big guys up front are like, well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to run the damn. Did you hear Ben Johnson say that he said to Caleb over the mic, tell the big guys on that last drive, he said, tell the big guys up front, we're going to ride the run out. Like, that's an awesome thing to hear.
How excited do you think that offensive line got when they heard that?
Yeah,
they're like they're putting the game that's what on
he's saying.
us.
Yeah,
yes,
that's what he's saying. Guys,
trust us to get this W. So
I don't want to lose sight of why that's awesome. Because he's telling the offensive line, win this game.
Yes, and you build that trust with the offensive line, and you build that trust with the quarterback, and you build that trust with the receiver. And 1 week, every week, it seems to be a different person that you're building that trust with. The special teams, Josh Blackwell, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all of these things start to add up. All of them start to add up, and then it just comes together, and that's going to take some time. Raiders and Commanders gave us wins, Shannon. We got the wins. So we have them. The Bears also found a way to take them. The Bears also found a way to make plays, man.
Yeah, I don't know if the Raiders gave them. The Raiders didn't give them. Yeah,
I mean, Geno Smith gave us the ball a few times, but
the Commanders gave us an opportunity.
Geno Smith. What the fuck do you expect?
But yeah, the Commanders kind of gave the Bears, and they kind of put the Bears back in the game.
That fumble was obviously, but like that's.
But the Bears got on the ball. They took the ball. It's still a takeaway.
The Bears took the ball and then they went and scored. That's what they did. That's what they did. So it's not like the Bears were just like got handed these wins. They had to go earn them. So you have to give credit for that. It might not be as pretty as you want it to be. It might not be the way you want it done. But at the end of the day, they're 3-2, and they just beat a team that a lot of people were picking to be in the playoffs. And I think that win is going to have major implications in wild card if the Bears can continue to win, because I think the Commanders are going to find a way to be in that conversation. And now you got to win on them on the road. That's huge, Shannon. It's okay to acknowledge that while still wanting more. Okay, they didn't give a shit. The Bears went and earned it. That's the reality, man.
Yeah, and they all said the same thing. Every player and every coach on every team, every player. And
hey, Shannon, real quick, Shannon, if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, I'm gonna be pissed, man. We're having a good conversation with you. I like having you here. I appreciate your input.
You said a lot. I agree.
Yeah, fuck it.
I don't want
hit that subscribe button, my man. Make sure you hit that like button too.
I wanted to say this.
Stick with us. We're here every week.
I wanted to say this about Theo Benedict, but more importantly, the entire offensive line. they weren't playing a really a super talented defensive line. The guys up front on this Bears team got
15 sacks going into that game, Brandon. Fifth in the league.
I mean, when they were running the football, they got the best of those guys.
Oh yeah, Shannon. Thank you.
You know what I mean? Thank you, Shannon. Appreciate it. They got the best of those guys up front, Dustin. We ran the ball down their throats. You know what I mean? Like they were making really big gaps for DeAndre Swift to get, and that's what you got to do for Swift. Because once you do that, he'll do the rest.
Yeah, and that's why it's really hard for me to hear someone say the Commanders gave us the win when the Bears have been giving up 6 yards of fucking carry and they only gave up 4.
They just bullied those guys.
Yeah, and when the Bears have been averaging 3.5 yards per carry and DeAndre Swift ran for 7.7, the Bears asserted their will in that game. And as everyone's been pointing out here, as Shorty says, let's talk about those fucking refs. There were a lot of calls that were very questionable.
The Colston Loveland call was terrible.
The offensive pass interference on Colston Loveland was terrible bullshit.
That was terrible.
What was it? The defensive holding on Nahshon Wright was complete bullshit. That was not even fucking close, man. I mean, even we talked about the Theo Benedict thing that pulled away the touchdown on Rome. Complete bullshit. And when they threw the flag on top, like, why was that flag not thrown right away?
And then there was even a moment in the game.
You let the touchdown happen and then you throw the flag?
There's even a moment in the game where
the Bears overcame a lot to get that win, guys. And it wasn't just the Commanders. It was the refs, Shannon, too.
There was even a moment.
And I'm not that guy.
There's even
I'm not that guy that complains about the refs.
There was even a moment where
Brandon, I'm not that guy.
There was even a moment where the officials said offsides, defense. Wait.
Never mind. The penalty was on the offense.
Yeah, the penalty's on the like. I've never seen something like that.
I have never seen that in my 39 years of watching football. I have never fucking seen that. I've been watching football since I was a fetus.
They were a little disorganized, I think. Oh, and by the way, the following morning, guys.
Scottish, what up?
Tuesday morning, I've heard this. They're new. That whole staff. So listen to this. That whole staff this was on 670 The Score. Mully said this. This whole staff is new.
Oh my God. Let's hear it.
This whole staff is new, and they've called. I don't remember don't quote me the exact number on this. They've called like 29 more penalties than any other crew in the NFL.
Yeah, they're like
crew. They're like way ahead of above.
They think the fans are there to see them throw fucking flags.
Yeah, they're the entertainment. Yeah, they are worlds ahead of the next crew. So these guys are obviously going to be addressed by the league. I would imagine it's this is crazy.
Shannon, the Bears did not put it in the refs' hands to try to take that game away. No, the refs asserted their will onto that game in a way that was just unpalatable. And again, I am never the guy that wants to blame the refs. And the Bears found a way to win either way.
Well, I think they just made it.
It was just clearly very tilted against the Bears in terms of the calls that were being made and the level of the calls that should have been called. Like you can't call. Colston Loveland didn't even extend his arm on that. There was no extension. The guy flopped like a fucking fish. It was within. He didn't even expect to get the call.
And it was within the first few yards, I thought, of the line of scrimmage. I didn't think they were past 5 yards. They were both kind of hands on one another. You know what I mean?
But pressed. He didn't even really push off, Brandon.
He was pressed.
Okay, but Loveland didn't push off. He didn't.
But even if he did, it's press at the line. The contact there is not illegal. You can contact within 5 yards when you're pressing a player at the line.
Yeah, he did, Scottish. Yeah, he did. I mean, these guys just like to those guys particularly like to throw the flags, and they seem to want to throw them a lot more on the Bears and in some very questionable situations. The Bears still overcame that. And as Shannon says here, man, Bears got to show us that they're that team on Sunday against a bad team. And and Bizzo threw it out here earlier, and we've been saying this for weeks, Brandon. The Saints are not a bad team. The Saints are a solid team. They're actually playing better than I expected, and I expected them to be better than most, though I expected them to be one of the worst teams in the league, but I just expected them to be competitive. They have a solid roster, and we're going to get into that. But I mean, like, this is not some pushover team. This is a beatable team. If you're the Chicago Bears, you are a more talented team than them, and you are at home. But you could definitely lose this game if you take them lightly in any kind of way.
Well, yeah, and this has been
The face mask penalty, yes. The hit to the head by Montez Sweat. There was a fucking defender when Rome was blocking that just got all face mask on Rome and damn near took his head off right in front of the ref. No flag, nothing. It couldn't have been more blatant.
I want to ask you this question. This guys, we're gonna go.
Yeah, but they're a feisty 1-5.
And I want to know
1-5.
I want to know.
I picked them to win 3 games, I think. So yeah, I'm with you. But they're a feisty 1-5. They compete,
and they're a much better team. They're a much better team than people thought they would be, regardless of their record, because Spencer Rattler makes them competitive, where Shuck would have probably just been awful. I imagine.
And their defense has been solid. I mean, they have some players on that team, is all I'm saying.
But the Bears should beat them, guys. If the Bears, knock on some wood here, let's say the Bears, hypothetically, the Bears beat the Saints team. They are 4-2 in this season. I want to know from the chat and from you, Dustin, which 4-2 do you feel better about? Last year's or this year's?
It's not even close, Brandon. I mean,
so that's
I guess I tried to talk myself into that 4-2 last year, but you felt it coming. You knew Eberflus was not it.
Right.
Like,
no, your
we
gut
were waiting
feeling
for
was,
that other shoe.
We're not a good team.
Yeah, we beat up on some bad teams and some bad situations. The Panthers had just gone to Andy Dalton.
Our play calling was terrible.
Were a dumpster fire, and their coach was worse than ours.
And even when we won, our play calling was bad.
No, and like you. I don't know. I mean, the offense was able to take off against the Panthers and the Jaguars, but like that was the worst coach in the league bowl. The Bears versus the Jaguars last year. Doug Peterson gave Matt Eberflus a run for his money of the worst fucking coach in the league. So I mean, like, you just knew that the quality of play was not there, and you knew that the buy-in was not there. And it took, I mean, the Commanders thing, that's what flipped everything on its head. Obviously, the Hail Mary, man, but you just saw them go into Washington and come away with a gritty win on a last-second field goal. And the culture is different, man. Ben Johnson has changed the culture. He has these guys believing. When those locker room speeches, night and day from what they were last year after a Bears win. It's not even close. Matt Eberflus, it felt like the Bears had lost even when they won. The guy was a fucking bum, man. Like, he had no energy, nothing. Ben Johnson has all the energy. And what did he say? I love this. He was like, I need a little bit more. like he was a crackhead fiend, and it was awesome. Did you see that?
In the locker room.
That's amazing. Ben Johnson is here, and this team.
He told somebody they
identity in terms of how they approach these games and their mindset has completely flipped. I feel 100% better about this 4-2 than last year's 4-2.
And so you got to think about that. That has to be applied too, guys, when you're talking about this Bears team, when you're talking about luck, when you're talking about officials gave them whatever's being said about this Bears team and discrediting the things they've done. Think about that. A 4-2 team last year who was winning the games they did clean. You know what I mean, Dustin? They hammered those teams. The Rams game was the team. The Rams game was the team that they kind of fought, you know what I mean, and won last year. The rest of those wins came easy to the Bears because they played inferior football.
Yeah, the Rams game was an impressive win. That was an impressive win.
But they're barely winning the football games they're winning this year. Same score, actually, 25-24. And you feel better about them when they were the margin of victory last year during the 4-2 stretch was so much better than it is this year. But you don't care. This team, you believe in this team. You know,
it's what Scottish is saying right here, man. It's this year. It's easy. We don't win against the Raiders or Washington last year. We lose those games. We find a way to lose those games versus find a way to win them.
And you're starting to shift your mentality.
Is huge. Right. Yeah, exactly. What that shows you is that this is a team that won't fucking quit if something like the Hail Mary were to happen to them this year. That they have resilience, they have grit, stuff we thought they might have last year that just went away as soon as adversity hit. They have faced major adversity. You can talk about the competition. You can talk about the way they won. It has been huge adversity, and they have found ways to overcome it, where last year they would let it overcome them. And
Well,
that
and
is the
did they?
difference.
And did they? You know, you see Kevin Byard is named a captain, but other than Byard, they have a special teams captain. I can't remember who it is. I don't care.
I think it's Cairo Santos, but
Okay, Santos. But other than Byard, your captains are the two of the newest additions to this football team. Did they just maybe not have the leadership anywhere?
25 points a game, Shorty. We're averaging
Justin,
25 points a game.
top to bottom, I think they lacked leadership too. And a
Yeah.
team that doesn't have leaders on it is a team that's going to quit when things hit the fan, man. I think Tooney and listen, I think Jarrett is still making a big difference on this football team. You said it, Dustin. Grady Jarrett's impact on this team is not going to show
much
up on
more
the
than
stat
on the
sheets.
field. Yes.
It's not going to show up on the stat sheet. It's going to show up in the players around them. It's going to show up in the defense in general, the attitude of this team and how they approach games, what happens when they're down, what happens when something bad occurs, like when this team makes a mistake, shoots himself in the foot, how they respond to it. I think Grady Jarrett and Joe Tooney, guys like those, they impact those qualities in a football team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those were culture additions.
Yeah.
That's what they were, and we knew that. They were here to help Ben Johnson establish that. Like, they were a locker room presence for the coaches to lean on to help change the culture, and that is working. That was a plan. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Joe Tooney was not just brought here because of his football abilities, and neither was Grady Jarrett. They were brought here to help Ben Johnson flip this fucking thing on its head, and it's working. Yeah, and Shannon, he says that loss against Vikings is way worse loss than any loss we had last season. No, it's not. That Commanders loss was way worse than that Vikings loss. And here's what I'll say, man. They followed that loss up with a complete beatdown in Detroit. But then what did they do after that? They went out and won 3 in a row, man. So that was adversity. They could have just put their heads down and said, we're not good enough, and fucking gone out and sucked against the Cowboys, and not found a way to stay in it against the Raiders, and not found a way to stay in it against the Commanders. They have fought back and won 3 in a row since those 2 bad losses. That shows you something, man. It should.
Yes, and Shannon, and what Dustin just said is what would normally happen with this Bears organization. You would after that Detroit ass whooping, you would see this team fold and tank, and then all the Bears beat writers would say they just don't have the roster that Ben Johnson needs to win. You know what I mean? You would get all the things that you always hear, Dustin, and then you'd watch Ben for 2-3 seasons get the pieces he needed and still fail anyways. It's different. Ben Johnson, like, who was it? Vizzo Joe, who I don't know who you said it in the chat, Dustin. They're winning games that you know they wouldn't have won. You know for a fact. Scottish. It's a credit to him. You know this football team would not have won these football games.
Extra credit to Scottish. Scottish is the man.
They would not have won the game against Vegas. They would not have won this game against Washington. They were losing games, guys, with a 90% win rate. Regularly. It was happening regularly.
Brandon, Shorty asked this question. Let me answer it real quick, and then you can go, okay? Well, he says, what did you think of Shamar Turner playing defensive end? Anyone else notice that? Yeah, all of his 22 snaps were at defensive end, and I mean, we knew when he was drafted he was a versatile guy. Brandon was one of the first people it was the first person I heard say that he likes him better at edge than tackle. I'll say this. He was at edge in that game because Booker could not make it back. The Bears did not have enough depth at the edge, and Dennis Allen said, I need you here, and this is what you're going to do. With, Grady Jarrett being out, they brought up Ford. They had more reserves in the defensive trenches in the interior, so they utilized him there. I don't think that he's just going to be used at edge going forward. You will see him go back to tackle. You will see him move back out to edge. You'll see him move all along this defensive line because that's why they drafted him, because Dennis Allen wants to use him that way. So I loved it. I thought his snaps were great there. Will he be a consistent defensive end in this defense? I don't know. I think he probably needs to get a little. He's not twitchy enough to me to be a pass rusher like from the edge. I think that he's more of a set the edge guy. And Dennis Allen's defense will utilize that, and he does like bigger defensive ends. So Shamar Turner kind of fits that mold. But I'll guarantee you're going to see him just go back and forth. Dennis Allen's going to use him up and down this line, and I think it's going to depend on where they need him on that day. That's what I think.
So here's here's the deal with Shamar Turner played 2 years of his collegiate career on the outside. His freshman and sophomore seasons he played on the outside. It was his junior year that he was moved inside, where he played 1 season before the Bears drafted him. So that alone told me this kid's probably in a Dennis Allen defense, especially. We had already had Dennis Allen. I thought to myself, this is a great pick because this kid can play any position on this Bears line. But more importantly, when we drafted him, Dustin, like I do any player the Bears draft, guys, I do, and I think any obsessive Bears fan does this as well. I watched whatever YouTube videos I could find, the highlights of Shamar Turner. I soaked in, a half an hour to 45 minutes of Shamar Turner.
I bet you soaked.
And oh yeah. So and
Soak it all in.
I would have got me. But the one thing that I noticed visibly, it was so clear to me that against tackles, he was far more effective as a pass rusher than he was against guards. Against guards, he was just getting bullied and pushed around. When I was watching his highlights against tackles, he was able to overpower a lot of these guys. Now, I don't know if the NFL tackle's going to be the same results because these guys are bigger, they're stronger, they're better. But he was able to and he did it a lot standing up in college. He played at edge standing up, and he was able to just kind of run through some tackles. That's what impressed me about him as a pass rusher, because outside of that, Dustin, you nailed it. You hit the nail on the head. This guy sets the edge. He's a really good run defender. That's the thing that I thought he did really well in this game against Washington. I thought he made a really big impact to the Bears' run defense. I wasn't watching Shamar Turner from the edge.
And there was no 22 point, snaps.
There was no point where I was like, man, he's making a big impact on the pass rush. I didn't see that. I think that he could eventually. He's got the physical talent. This kid is hungry, man. He's the kid that plays after the whistle, the kid that gets kind of aggressive. He's, you know what I mean?
He's got an attitude. He's got dog in him. We've been saying that. Yeah.
The coaches kind of had to calm him down. He was overly celebratory when he did something in the game.
Yeah, no. Bring that shit on. This team needs that.
Yeah, he wants to shove it in your face. He is that guy. So I think he could eventually be a quality pass rusher in this team. Like, when you're that guy that just has more motor than the guy across from you, you can just last longer. You know what I mean? Especially if you're playing in a rotation, you're not being used an entire game. Shamar Turner might be really effective late in games, guys.
I just think if Booker comes back this Sunday, you're not going to see him play all of his snaps at defensive end. You might
but he will still play outside.
Yeah, it's gonna be on a what do I need basis for Dennis Allen. And just when you're talking about Shamar Turner standing up, it just made me think how much I don't want to see Dennis Allen dropping these fucking defensive ends into coverage. I just don't want to see it.
Defensive ends. He dropped a tackle.
I don't want to see these D linemen dropping into coverage. At what point did it go well? At what point did you see that happening and you were like, oh yeah, that worked really well?
No, I told you it's you're baiting a team.
I understand you're trying to trick the quarterback.
It's a bluff. You're disguising it. But the problem is if they actually hit it, if they find the guy being covered by the defensive lineman,
that's a huge mismatch.
It's a wrap.
And they'll take advantage of it. Yeah, that seemed to happen a few times on Monday night, man. And it
seemed to happen this season more often than not.
It wasn't working. I would like to see less of that in the defensive game plan. I mean, Dennis Allen, I can't tell Dennis Allen how to do his job. He's been a defensive coordinator and a head coach in the NFL. He knows what the fuck he's doing. I'll just say that I do not see results coming from that. And if your goal is to trick the quarterback, I haven't really seen that happening either. So, like, I could just do without it personally. I just thought I'd throw that out there. Shorty suggests that anyone that can afford $100 a year describe the NFL Plus, you get the all 22 in every game for the last 10 years. Nice. Yeah. I don't know if I have time to even break down the all 22, man. To be honest, I didn't even have time to think about what we were going to talk about for this show.
I'm sure I'd be in a casket.
So yeah, I mean, the defense stepped up. I liked Shamar Turner in his role. I thought Trevon Dexter played a damn good game. TJ
Listen,
Edwards
I wanna
obviously
say
played a
this.
damn good game. Nashawn Wright had some mistakes early on, but really picked it up and made some huge plays. Got that fumble recovery. He ended up being the one falling on the ball there. I mean, like he made some big tackles in the run game. He impressed me as he stuck with it in that game.
I want
The
to say
defense
this
was impressive.
Personally, for me, guys, Ben Johnson is new. We're seeing progression. That was a statement game for Ben Johnson to me. That game against Washington, it really was. But we're going to see things. We're going to see, and you can't really evaluate Ben Johnson until he's been the coach of this team for at least a full season. You know what I mean? Because you don't know. We don't know if the things he does are the orthodox. We don't know if it's going to
He's
work.
got coach of the
don't-
year vibe right now, man.
Yeah, but you don't
He's
know
got
if you don't know if the method of the madness works, and that's obviously what we're going to judge him on. Like he's doing these things, and it's like it's so early in the process, you can't really see if it's working. But I think the one thing that he's clearly changed the culture is he's shifted the things that this team has been awful at.
And that was the thing we
and-
were
and-
most worried about
and
with Ben Johnson.
I
Brandon.
think that's something we can say. He's hold these players are accountable. He benched a
Yep.
guy who wasn't playing well. We're seeing things, Ben Johnson. But another thing that we can say he did wrong definitively, I think, early in his career, I've said this before, was the use of these rookies. And personally, guys, as a Bears fan, you had Shamar Turner injured. You had Colston Loveland injured. You have Luther Burden injured.
Who was injured all
You had-
offseason.
You had
Yeah.
Trapillo, who made no sense anywhere. You have a red shirt. You got a guy who never practiced, a guy who had personal issues
Zay Frazier.
the entire offseason. I mean, it was looking like a nightmare of a first draft class for Ben Johnson to me. I was feeling, Dustin, I don't know about you. I was worried.
Super high. I'm blind and super bite, he says, as he's talking about how he has the typos in his comments.
I was worried about Ben Johnson's first draft. I was. I will say, after this game against Washington, after the impact we've seen over the last 3 weeks, because the one thing we can say Ben Johnson definitively we can say did wrong was didn't include these rookies early enough. And after these last 3 wins in a row, I feel really good about this draft class. I think Shamar Turner is an impact player on this football team. I think Luther Burden and Colston Loveland will both be impact, but you can see these guys have the things the Bears were drafting them for. The Trapillo thing still doesn't make much sense.
I could still see Trapillo
being Hippolyte being a healthy scratch in a game that you don't. Your linebackers are. You're one injury away from a problem, Dustin. We saw that. Noah Sewell went out of that game, and you had a guy out there. I don't even.
Carl Jones.
No, it wasn't Carl Jones. I forget what the guy's name is. Number 48. I forget what his name was. But you want your rookies to be dressed for a game. I don't know, man. Like I don't know.
Well, the Hippolyte pick was the head scratcher of the draft. I'll say this: I could still see a scenario in which Ozzie Trapillo ends up starting this year at some point. I could still see that. Like I said, I could still see this left tackle position needing to be addressed potentially down the line.
These guys are making
hopefully
an
not.
impact, man.
Hopefully
All
not.
of these rookies.
Luther Burden, I'll say Luther Burden needs to get more involved. Just give him the OZ snaps. Give him all of them. OZ has more targets than DJ Moore up to this point in the season. Those targets need to be Luther Burden targets. Look what he does when he gets the ball in his hands. Look what he does in his route running. He gets open. He makes himself available to Caleb, and he's faster than most of the guys on the field once he gets the ball in his hands. Luther Burden, I was happy with this draft with just the first 2 picks in Colston Loveland and Luther Burden. When you're looking at Tyler Warren's performance up to this point versus Colston Loveland's, it's kind of depressing. You're kind of thinking like Tyler Warren might have been the better pick. He was more pro-ready prospect. But it's hard to say that when Colston Loveland is not really getting involved in this offense.
Thanks, Shorty.
Start getting him
more
involved in this offense. I think he will make an impact. He should be your red zone guy. I still see that coming to fruition at some point this season. But between those 2 guys, Brandon, I love this draft class because I think they're both very impactful players. Throw in Shamar Turner, throw in Kyle Monangai, who is making an impact right now. I mean, you have a solid draft class here, and I think it's only going to get better. I really do.
The play that got called back because of the
Love you, Shorty.
offensive pass interference on Loveland.
Yes, Shy Tex. Yes.
I mean, that was a big play, man.
I thought that
he made
really
the catch in
harmed. Yeah, you felt like there was going to be something going after that, and then it just got called back. For Colston Loveland.
And they kind of took him off the field. I don't know if
Yeah.
It felt like he was kind of punished, man. Like he had committed the penalty for sure. Like
he didn't. He didn't.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. It felt like Caleb was about to start seeing
that
this.
was like, you could get a little rhythm going, and then it just got called back, and it shit on.
And they
everything.
took him. They did take him off the field. They took him off the field.
But let's say this, man: when Cole Kmet is on the field, there's nothing there. Cole Kmet is basically
he makes one big play. He had that play, man, where he kind of got hit, stood the defender up, and pushed him another like 6 or 7 yards to get a first down. I mean, he was
for sure, but like
on that play, but it's not enough.
Colston Loveland can give you more.
You need more at this position. Yeah,
Burden over OZ, Colston over Cole Kmet. That's how I feel, man, and I want to see these guys getting involved in this offense. The 12 personnel. We talked about it. We still need to see more of that. We need these tight ends more involved. I think Cole Kmet can be involved in this offense. And I think with the two of them on the field, it's a damn good thing that you can utilize and you can be successful doing it. But Colston over Cole, Burden over OZ. Let's get that going as we get start getting towards the second half of this season, man. I really want to see these two rookies getting more involved. And that play from Cole got flagged, Scottish says.
Yeah, it did. It got called back. But he did. Regardless of the end result, that was all Kmet. All the yards that he gained on that play were just from sheer grit. He wasn't going to quit on that play. So I know it got called back, but I mean, it's impressive. Kmet earned those yards, hard-earned those yards, regardless of a penalty that got called somewhere along the way.
Vizzo wanted to know our keys to the game. I think it's probably time to get into the Saints game. We're at an hour 45 right now. We haven't really talked about this Sunday, man. I'll ask you this just straight up. What stands out to you about this Saints roster? Because I got an answer, but I want to hear yours.
Well, they're fast.
Okay. Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah.
Was Rashid Shaheed? Yes, Rashid Shaheed.
Chris
Olave
Cooks is still a fast guy. And
Alvin Kamara still got speed. Kendra Miller. They got what the fuck is Taysom Hill back, and he brings a different element to that offense.
They're fast, and Kendra Miller's run the ball pretty effectively, man. I mean, this is
last week he had a down game. The week before too, he's had a couple down weeks in a row. But yeah, I mean, he's supplementing the run really well with Alvin Kamara, and I think they have something there in Kendra Miller. Spencer Rattler has looked solid. I mean, he's still a bottom 10 quarterback in the league, Brandon, I would say, right? So I mean, like,
but
he's a guy that can be gotten
out to me about the team, the Saints, is they turn the ball over. They're a fast team. They're a very fast team. The secondary's got their hands full, but they make mistakes. They make mistakes. They're playing with a new quarterback. He didn't play last year. He wasn't the starter last year. They're playing with a new coach.
He started a few games last year, but yeah,
he did. But yeah, he was the full-time starter. So there's a lot of new things in New Orleans as well as Chicago, and they're not playing clean football.
Okay, well, let me give you what stands out to me, because Scottish kind of beat me to it, man. And this is the strength of this team, and this is what makes them scary to me. Their fucking offensive line, man. They have a really good offensive line. Kelvin Banks Jr., who they just drafted, Trevor Penning at guard, Eric McCoy is a damn good center, Cesar Ruiz is a damn good guard, and Talise Fuaga, who they drafted in the first round last year out of Oregon State, is a fucking road grader. Their offensive line is very good. And as he says here, their lines of scrimmage are good. Two exceptional young tackles. That offensive line is going to be hard to get pressure on, and they're going to be hard to stop the run. I mean, we can sit here and say the Bears stopped the run or limited the run, held Krosky Merritt to 3.8 yards per carry on Monday night. Yeah. They did a much better job. We can sit here and say that.
Daniels got loose though.
But and Rattler has the ability to do that, as was pointed out in the chat. But the Bears, They went from averaging 7.7 yards per carry against them with Ashton Genty to 3.8 against Krosky Merritt. Are they that team or are they that team? I think they're somewhere in the middle, man. I don't think they're the team that allows almost 8 yards per carry, and I don't think they're a team that holds the guy to under 4. I think you're looking, you know what I'm saying? So, like, this Saints offensive line can open up some holes, and this run game could get going for the Saints, and that could be a problem for me. And that's what it always comes down to for me. Can this team show up again and stop the run? Was TJ Edwards the missing link? And that's just that. Putting TJ Edwards at middle linebacker and having, you know, Tremaine Edmonds move to that will spot. Was that the change that this Bears defense needed? Was that it?
Well, I want to say this, man. I mean, I think Washington's offensive line has been better than the Saints at creating run lanes for their running. Like I think the Bears just played a really good run offensive line. They did. They played one of the better ones in the NFL.
And this is another one.
And the Bears added not only Kyler Gordon, TJ Edwards, but Shamar Turner. Like I said, guys, in the run especially. Thought in the run. I want to clarify this because, like, he played on the edge, but I don't think he was too super effective as a pass rusher. In the run game, he made like 3 huge plays. He was really effective against the run. So I thought Edwards, Gordon, and Shamar Turner made a really big difference. And I thought Chris Williams, he had 2 big plays himself, 2 really big plays. So I thought players stepped up, Dustin. The addition of players and players stepping up, I thought, made the difference because they played a good run offensive line in Washington. So I think they can do the same against New Orleans. I do. Let
me give you some stats here. New Orleans points per game, 18 and a half. It's number 29 in the league. Okay. Chicago allowing 28.2 a game. New Orleans yards per game, 305. Bears giving up 369. New Orleans yards per play 4.8. I don't know, man. Like, their third down conversion percentage 37%. That's 22nd in the league. Their red zone scoring percentage is 42%. That's 29th in the league. They're not very good on offense in terms of scoring points. They're not very good on offense in terms of getting touchdowns. They're getting 1.7 a game. That's 29th in the league. Whereas the Bears are getting 2.8. It's 14th in the league. The Bears' red zone scoring percentage is 57%. That's 18th in the league. Their yards per play, 5.5. That's 15th in the league. Points per game, we talked about this, 25.2 for the Bears, 10th in the league. Yards per game, 338. That's 14th in the league. So the Bears, up to this point, have been a much better offense and a much more efficient offense than the Saints. Can this Bears defense step up again and keep that Saints offense there? Because I've been reading in the chat that some people are saying this is going to be a shootout. Caleb's going to have to win this game with his arm. I don't really think so. I don't think that this Saints offense is good enough to turn this game into a shootout. I think the Bears just need to be smart with the ball and not turn it over. And this Saints offense, as you said, is going to turn it over. They're going to make some mistakes, and they're going to keep themselves out of the red zone. And the Bears just need to hold up.
I think this is where the Bears need to try to exploit this game, Dustin. I think this is where they need to try to win. Because I've talked about this a little bit earlier in the season. Guys.
Chicago's defense is shitty, man.
I've talked about this a little bit earlier in the season. Kellen Moore has really surprised me in his approach with this football team. He has an unproven, basically rookie quarterback and Spencer Rattler. This team's been successful prior to his tenure with really running Alvin Kamara was kind of the star of the show, running the football.
Yeah, he's having kind of a fall off year right now, a little bit.
And Kellen Moore got his job because that Eagles offense was just so damn effective running the ball. I mean, they won a Super Bowl riding the back of Saquon Barkley, man, or Saquon, however. But I want to read something to me that stands out, okay? This is Spencer Rattler's his game log. These are his attempts in the football games. 46, 34, 39, 27, 31, 26.
Okay. But you know why that is.
This football team is letting this kid, and I like Rattler.
Well, Brandon, you know why that is. because they're down in games. They have no choice but to
Well-
throw the ball. They're not like choosing that.
Well, no, they're not really down in all. Some of these scores on these games, they're really close.
Well, I mean, they beat the Giants. That was like a back and forth game, right?
They one
They
score
got their
away from
asses kicked by the Patriots. That was
It was
for sure in
25
that
to
game.
19. They were one score away.
It ended up being closer, but I watched that game,
anyways,
and the
man,
Patriots seemed to be on top of
regardless,
them throughout that game.
I think they just haven't run the ball very effectively, and Kellen Moore is depending on Spencer Rattler. That's what I think is happening.
Okay,
But-
let me give you their rush stuff real quick. Their
But
rush
hold
play.
on. I want to
Okay.
say this. I think if Rattler is to throw the ball 30 times plus in this football game,
That's
I
good
can't
for the
believe-
Bears.
I can't believe I'm saying this because I said this to you during the game Monday night. I think they might keep doing this turnover thing. You're just
Oh,
expecting it to
100%.
stop, and it continues to happen. So I think you can take the ball away from Spencer Rattler, given they're depending a lot on him.
Okay, let me give you some of the Saints stats to back up what you're saying, Brandon. Their rush play percentage is 43.23%. That's number 20 in the league. Their yards per rush is 4. That's 24th in the league. Their rushes per game, they're doing 27.7. That's 10th in the league. Their rush yards, 109, 19th in the league. Rush touchdowns, a half a touchdown a game at 24th in the league. Now, their interception thrown percentage, Brandon, is 0.97%. That is 6th in the league. So, I mean, they're doing all right in that capacity, right? But Chicago's
That's what is that per game?
Yes,
Yeah, that's one interception per game.
No, it's not one. It's 0.97% of the time that they're throwing.
He's only thrown one.
He's not turning the ball over in that regard up to this point. Their turnover margin is plus 0.7. They have 0.7 giveaways per game, but they have 1.3 takeaways per game.
Yeah, he's only thrown one pick.
But the Bears force opponent interceptions at a 5.71% clip, Brandon. That's number 1 in the league. So your plan is to say shut down the run, which by looking at these numbers seems like it'll be, you can do that, but the Bears are still allowing 5.7 yards per rush even after that good game against the Commanders run game. So like if the Saints want to have a chance, they have to establish the run. What's up, Brandon? If the Saints want to have a chance, they're going to have to establish the run 100%. Brandon, it looked like you froze there. You there?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So if the Saints want to have a chance to win this game, they're going to have to establish the run. And you're saying, don't let them do that. And Shannon's saying that, sell out against the run in terms of against the Saints, shut that down, make Rattler beat you with his arm because you'll get some turnovers like we saw with Geno Smith, like we saw with Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is a guy who doesn't turn the ball over either.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, man, I think this is what I'm kind of my point.
I don't think you bank on turnovers, Shannon. They're creating turnovers. This defense is creating turnovers, Shannon.
Okay,
it's not just being given to them.
Let me say this. This is my point. What I said to you during Monday night. This secondary is what we expected them to be, and they don't even have Jalen Johnson. Brisker, Byard,
now Gordon back.
Stevenson. These guys are talented players, man. And I think that they're going to take the ball away at a high rate, regardless of the quarterback, regardless of the guy's numbers, how efficient he is, how little he throws interceptions. They just kind of wreak havoc. The secondary is really good at getting in the way, man.
And Dennis Allen's been good at hiding these guys in the secondary too.
They jump on routes.
Yeah.
They make you. This defense has been really good, Dustin, at making you pay for the simple mistakes. We talked about it, me and you on Monday night when Jaden threw that pass to the end zone. That's a touchdown. If you
loft it, throw it in front of your guy, not to your guy. Throw it ahead of him. Yeah.
He threw it low, and he still threw it on target. That's still a direct line to his receiver. But the Bears made him pay for making a simple mistake.
And he threw it low because he did not see Brisker. Because Dennis Allen is really designing some good coverage here, where these guys are kind of hiding back there, man. quarterbacks are not seeing them when they're letting somebody like Jaden Daniels just did not see Brisker. He thought he had an easy throw, so he took
And-
that instead of taking the
And
harder
you're
throw.
also, and another thing Dennis Allen needs credit for, guys, because this is something we haven't seen since Lovie Smith. Well, Vic Fangio kind of did it, but yeah, he did. Vic Fangio did it.
Vic Fangio
These
definitely
guys, these
did
guys
everything.
are these guys are punching and stripping at the ball. They're trying to get the ball. Consistently trying to. Tyreek Stevenson is desperately trying to remove the ball from the ball carrier.
The reek rip. The
Yeah,
reek rip.
He is just like pulling and punching every time somebody comes by him. So
Mhm.
this team is making an effort to take the ball away. It's not just fortune. It's not right place, right time. They're cutting off routes. They're punching at the ball. And even when Jaden Daniels drops it in the rain, when he can't cleanly hand it off, Nashawn Wright got in the backfield quickly and got on that ball. You know what I mean? Nashawn Wright was 3 yards in the backfield by the time the handoff was fumbled.
Let me just throw some more stuff out at you here just to kind of see what you're thinking. New Orleans against the run, they're only allowing 3.8 yards per rush.
Yeah, their defense has been surprisingly good to me, man.
29.7 rushes per game. That's 27th in the league. Their 3.8 yards per rush is 7th in the league. They're allowing 114. That's middle of the pack, and they're allowing just under a touchdown at 0.7. Against the pass, they're passed on over 50% of the time. Their opponent completion percentage, Brandon, and this is huge. This is huge. And Shannon's been saying in the chat, man, their opponent's completion percentage is 69.49%. Caleb Williams is completing 61.5% of his passes. This needs to be a 70% completion game for Caleb Williams, Brandon. This has to be. Teams have been beating them through the air. Their opponent's yards per pass is 7.6. That's 25th in the league. Their opponent passes per game, 29. That's 9th in the league. Opponent pass yards per game, 213, 16th in the league. They're middle of the pack in terms of their interceptions thrown. And their sack percentage is middle of the pack as well. It's 6.84. So, I mean, like, you can be efficient against this defense in the pass. Can Caleb be that? What gives first? Caleb's completion percentage at 61.5 or the Saints' completion percentage allowed? It's at damn near 70%. Does Caleb come up here or does that defense hold him to what his average has been? That's a big question to me.
I think I'm starting to see a trend in Caleb Williams on these games in which he's beaten up on defenses that allow a lot of passing yards, man. It's at home.
Good point, Scottish.
It's at home. I think being in Chicago, I think you're going to see Caleb's completion percentage crawl up, Dustin, in the game.
Okay, so you think Caleb kind of rises up to the moment and also kind of takes advantage of a defense that's allowing
a
high
home. I really
completion
like Caleb throwing the ball well. Yeah.
Oh, and then the other question is, what if he completes 61% of his passes in this game? Is that concerning to you when you're playing against a team that's allowing quarterbacks to be so efficient up to this point? I mean, they've played Jackson Dart. They played Drake May. I'm blanking on the other teams that they have played up to this point. But I mean, like, quarterbacks are completing it at a high clip against them. I think this is a good game for Caleb to get right in that regard. I really do. I think this is a good game for Caleb to get the quick passes out and just get the ball into the hands of your playmakers.
Kyler Murray, Mac Jones, Sam Darnold, Josh
Allen.
Allen.
Yeah, the Niners. Yeah.
Josh Allen.
Sam Darnold is one of the best quarterbacks in the league this year, right?
Yeah, but you know what's funny? They only allowed.
Yeah, Shannon, that's true.
Oh yeah, no, they played a really bad game against those two, against Seattle and Buffalo.
The Cardinals, they were right in that game till the end. The Niners kind of took care of them. I mean, that was another game that they were in it up until the end.
Seattle and Buffalo.
Seattle beat the shit out of them. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they played really bad football against those two teams. So yeah, no, I mean, Dustin, this is a team that can compete. They've got some pieces on their team that you got to worry about as every.
They hung with Buffalo in Buffalo for a while though, Brandon. But that game, the score got.
The ending score is not good, but
no, yeah, I understand. That score got out of control in the fourth quarter. but they hung with Buffalo through 3 quarters in that game. They did.
Yeah,
The
well,
Saints did.
but losing in the fourth quarter, playing your worst in the fourth quarter is not a good testament. But I'll say
Well, they're a
this, guys.
bad team. I'm just saying they
I'll-
can hang. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'll say this. It
Cameron,
looks
what's
like-
up, dude? Is this
it
a new
looks
guy in
like-
the chat? You ever seen
maybe.
Cameron Jones before?
I don't think so. It
It's my
looks like this
illegitimate brother.
looks like this football team. Good God, Dustin. Been trying to say the same thing for 5 minutes.
Go ahead.
It looks like this football team gets beat up.
Thank you for being here, Cameron. Hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. We're here every Thursday. We love new members in the chat. We're happy you're here. Yeah, man. Good to see you. Good evening. Good morning. Go ahead, Brandon.
It looks like they get beat up by good football teams. Not only that, but it looks like when they play a quality defense, the Saints really struggle to score. So I mean, yeah, you read you read their offensive statistics.
18.5 points
really-
per game, man.
You really
That's
have to
not good.
exploit that. You really have to exploit this team on you. Where the Bears need to is on defense.
Yeah, the Bears
defense-
defense needs to step up big in
Yes.
this game. Just
This-
don't even let
this
them stay in it. Just
Offense
shut
should
them
score.
down.
This offense should score 10 points against you in your own house, at most. You know what I mean?
I mean, they've shown the propensity to hang even on the road. That's all I'll say. Again, that Bills score was lopsided by the end of it, but people who bet on the Bills, I think the spread was like 13.5 in that game. People who bet on the Bills were a little nervous throughout that game. I do remember that because the Saints hung in there. So yeah, if you can hold them to 17, hold them to their average. You know, you're averaging 25 points per game. You're at home. The Saints are averaging 18.5. That's like what the Bears averaged last year. That was a bad offense. The Saints offense is a bad scoring offense. You cannot let them get confidence by getting an easy touchdown. A blown coverage like what the Bears had against the Commanders on Monday night where Luke McCaffrey's running wide open. That will give a guy like Spencer Rattler confidence, and he can make those throws. Spencer Rattler has a fucking hell of an arm. And Shorty pointed out earlier, it's kind of funny. Spencer Rattler is the guy who lost his job to Caleb Williams in Oklahoma, and these two are playing each other this Sunday. I'm sure there's no hard feelings there, but like it's an interesting little story behind this. You know, Rattler was the established guy. He was
He's
supposed
going
to be.
to want to play.
Yeah, Rattler's gonna want to show out in this game. Whether or not he can. I mean, I think I think it's clear to me the talent gap is pretty big between the Bears and the Saints. I think the Bears have much better players. I think the Saints have an advantage on the offensive line in terms of against this Bears defense. I'm not saying the Saints offensive line is better than the Bears, but I like a lot of the players on this offensive line, and it's the strength of this team. So if they can, by some miracle, average more than 4 yards per carry in this game, which is what they've averaged up to this point, that will make this job tougher on the Bears. But Caleb needs to be good in this game. I agree with you, Shannon. And he just asked the question. So y'all don't think Caleb the best in this class? I think he is. I think that's what's going to end up showing itself when this is all said and done. That Caleb will be the best quarterback of this class.
I think sincerely and unbiasedly, I think
Damn, Scottish.
To me, the conversation should have by now shifted from Daniels versus Knicks like it was to Caleb versus May. I think those are the two guys that, to me,
Daniels is still in that conversation, man. It's the
me-
three of them. It's Williams, May, and Daniels.
Daniels. Here's
Knicks
the thing
is
about
not in
Daniels.
this conversation.
Here's the thing about Daniels, man. Daniels is never going to be I don't think he's going to be a better passer than Caleb or May.
Good point, Cameron.
And I don't think he's going to be as effective as a guy like Lamar. So I think that's what Jaden Daniels is going to be in his career.
I mean, it remains to be seen. I think Jaden Daniels has I don't think he's shown anything this year. His completion percentage has been bad compared to what it was last year for him. But, you know, you got a long season here. I don't think Jaden Daniels will show me anything to where I should start questioning him. I think he can ascend to that level and be one of those guys like on a Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson level. But I think Caleb Williams can too. I really do. So, I mean, like, it's going to come down to ultimately who has the most wins, who can find a way to a Super Bowl, who's the guy that you want the ball in their hands when the game is on the line. Caleb needs to improve in his accuracy. Caleb needs to improve the efficiency stats to establish himself as that guy
But
because he doesn't turn the ball over.
But
Caleb turns the
those,
ball over the least of all these guys.
Caleb in those moments though has looked good to me. When you say when the game's on the line,
When the game's on the line,
who do you want?
yeah.
Who do you want? Whose hands do you want the ball in?
Let's not forget Daniels made some huge plays when the game was on the line last year to win some big games. He did through the NFC Championship,
and May's done it this year, and
to an extent, yeah.
Knicks did it this week. Knicks made it was ugly, man.
They scored 13 points.
Yeah, the Broncos won ugly,
game,
but
dude.
Bo Nix made some plays on that touchdown drive. He made some big plays.
They beat the fucking shit ass Jets by 2 points. Bo Nix is regressing this season to me.
I think Caleb's been the most poised when the game is on the line.
For sure. And I think all these guys are pretty poised. This is a damn good class. And if Caleb can be the second or third best quarterback in this class, guys, let's just say this. If he can be the third best quarterback in this class, that still means he's probably a damn good quarterback when you're comparing him to Drake May and Jaden Daniels. So the Bears could still get to
I think
good coaching and the right players around him.
I think Michael Penix is about to maybe open it up, man. I don't know, like that offense is starting to really, really hum, and he's got some really talented players around him. Talk about playing point guard.
Where was Caleb when the game got tight against the Vikings? He was on the field. He missed some throws. I was very disappointed in how he performed in that game. He's performed better since then.
Well,
but
and if
JJ McCarthy is not even playing football right now, and I don't think his head coach even wants him back on the field, to be honest. And he won NFC Offensive Player of the Week for that.
And Shannon,
game.
what kind of method? What kind of method is that? Because if you're saying like where you can't judge Caleb and who he is as a quarterback off that game in Minnesota. If you could do that, then I would just say, well, the Caleb that played against the Cowboys is Caleb.
That's the best quarterback of the entire class. Yeah.
He's the guy. So it's like, yeah, he's a young quarterback who's having good games and bad games, and for sure, I think he played a big part of losing that Minnesota game. I do.
Cameron Jones likes Penix as well. He's got him as the fourth.
Is about to start tearing some shit up, I think.
He already kind of is, and he's a good quarterback, and it's always fun to see those lefties sling it, man. But Spencer Rattler was a slept-on guy in that draft last year, and I think he's still a guy that has something to say. I mean, again, he's a bottom 10 quarterback in the league right now. He's not in the greatest situation, but he's got all the arm skills that you want in a quarterback. So, I mean, and he's got moxie for sure. The guy has no problem slinging the ball. It's going to be fun to watch those two play, especially given their history, as I mentioned earlier. And as you said, Brandon, Spencer Rattler is going to want to come out and stick it to him. I think he will, for sure. But as Cameron pointed out, hopefully he's pressing because of that, and he throws the ball to us a couple of times. And we think he might.
And I think, isn't this team?
That's what Caleb needs to do.
There's places you can exploit this team. I think they've been pretty bad against tight ends. And the Bears, we really got to start to see that, Justin. I mean, I think I don't care how well the defense plays against tight ends.
I think last week against the Patriots, the tight ends didn't really do much, but a bit throughout the season. Yeah, you've seen tight ends.
Oh, yeah, maybe I'm wrong because it looks like the Giants didn't do anything either. But I think, again, I don't really care who the Bears are playing and how well that defense plays tight ends. I think this is still a strength that you need to utilize that makes you unique.
The 12-man personnel.
I think Kmet and Loveland both going out there and running some routes. If you feel like Benedette's good enough to be left alone, you get these two tight ends running routes, man. There's not a lot of defenses that have multiple guys to cover big-bodied, athletic receivers, man.
The Saints got Justin Reed at safety, and they got Kool-Aid McKinstry at slot, who I like. I mean, they got Chase Young as their edge rusher, their premier edge rusher, a guy a lot of Bears fans wanted in this past offseason. So, I mean, like, they have some skill there on the defensive side, but I think the Bears can really exploit that secondary, Brandon. I think
the Bears. The good thing about the Bears, man, is you can have a lot of talent on defense.
They have more talent on offense.
There's just too much on offense, man. The Bears, like, you have Burden. I do still think Loveland's going to be a very effective player. Kmet is not a guy to sleep on. I mean, the Bears might just be too much for majority of defenses in the NFL.
We got another Colston Loveland fan in here.
Ben's just got to make it work.
Yeah, he does run excellent routes. I think he can really make an impact on the game if he starts getting more targets. Hopefully he's more healthy this week.
Yeah, I
The
would
Bears
love to see
involve him
these
more.
two make an impact together, Komet and Loveland. I'd love to see them
So
both
Colston
make an
Loveland,
impact on this game.
yes. Yes, and I would love to see Luther Burden make an impact on this game. Colston Loveland not on the injury report this week, which is great. Grady Jarrett, DNP still. I don't really care. Cairo Santos, DNP. We know we got Jake Moody, who just hit 4 field goals in the game winner, Brandon. So I think we're okay there. Noah Sewell probably not going to play the concussion, which we're glad it was just a concussion. That looked like it could have been way worse, that injury when it happened on the field.
It could have been neck.
Like a neck thing, yeah. DJ Moore.
It was bad. It was
yeah,
a bad thing, man.
DJ Moore with the hip groin was limited. So, I mean, I think he's going to push hard to play. But even if he plays, I think he'll be limited as well, which means that we can see more Luther Burden. I think that would be the one positive. If they held DJ Moore out a week, you can get Luther Burden really involved in this offense against a secondary that can be exposed. DeAndre Swift was limited. Amen was limited. Austin Booker full again. Travis Homer full again. Jonah Jackson full. Austin Booker and Travis Homer were full all last week and then got put right back on injured reserve. Didn't get brought off of injured reserve as they went into that Monday night game. I'm really hoping to see Austin Booker this Sunday, Brandon.
It would be off. I mean, so at this point, man, he's basically a healthy scratch. If he's practicing in full and left on injured reserve, he's a healthy scratch because he's healthy.
No, I think they're being safe with bringing him back. I don't think that they would.
Position that you need so desperately, man. If this guy's able to practice in full, I don't care how limited he needs to be. He should play. I think he's a player that could be limited regardless. I think that's kind of his role in the NFL.
Well, he's again. I think it's just about making sure they're taking advantage of that injured reserve spot for as long as they can if they feel they need to. But as soon as Austin Booker is good to go, this team wants him back on the field. And I think they need him because, as you said, that pass rush specialist role, that limited role where he comes in to go after the quarterback when you know it's going to be passing downs. I think that can be huge for this team, and I think he can apply some pressure. He showed that shit in the preseason. I expected him to be the X factor for this defensive line and this pass rush, and
Spencer Rattler
I can't wait to see him.
Place to start, man.
Yeah,
He's
it would.
An athletic guy.
He is, and because of that athleticism, he takes sacks that he probably shouldn't from time to time as well. So I mean,
Austin Booker's an athletic end. He can get after a guy like Spencer Rattler.
Yep.
Nobody else.
So it'd be good to
really
see him back.
Yeah.
I mean, Sweat has been applying more pressure as the season has gone on. He's getting a little better there. Javon Dexter is applying a good amount of pressure.
The fingertip batted pass by Sweat in that game was enormous to the outcome.
Yes. Yeah.
And the
Sweat played a solid game. He did.
And the play after that, I think he had a sack or a half a sack or something.
Yep.
He had a series where he went out and just kind of dominated.
And he had the pressure on Jaden Daniels where him and Dio got in there and forced the bad pass. So, I mean, like, Montez Sweat had his most impressive game of the year. And I would love to see him carry that momentum into this game on Sunday, maybe get a sack on Spencer Rattler. If we see Austin Booker, love to see him get in on the action. I think Javon Dexter has a big game. But as I said, McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, they got a really good interior. Penning, they got a really good interior O-line. I mean, they're really good all across the board. So this defensive line is going to have its work cut out for them, Brandon. I'm most worried from the Saints. I'm most worried about them being able to establish the run with this really good offensive line and the fact that I still don't trust the Bears to stop the run. They had a good game on Monday, but that's the first time they've done that all season. It's the first time. So, like, I need to see it more consistently.
I still don't trust them to run the ball effectively. All right, I want to see that for another week or two, man, before I can say that's something that's resolved. I still think they're still lacking the talent at the running back position. So when we play better defenses against the run, is this something we're still going to see succeed? I don't know.
Well, in terms of success against the run, the Commanders were right on par with where we have where the Saints are. You know, so I mean, like, I think the difference in the design was the key on Monday. And I think that will, again, be the key on Sunday. I think Ben Johnson wants the run game more than anything. I think he loves the run game more than the pass game, to be honest. And now that he's found something and a way to make this work with DeAndre Swift and his offensive line to get some big holes opened up on the outside to get him in open space, I think he's going to stick with that. But at the same time, the Saints have that on film. and then they're going to be looking to stop that. So there's going to be some punches and some counter punches. And Ben Johnson has done a really good job so far this season at taking those punches and coming back with some good counters. He has. So we'll see how that plays out. But if the Bears can establish that run game like they did on Monday night and find a way to stop this Saints run game, this will be an easy win for them, an easy win. So, I mean, that one's up in the air for me because I think the Saints can kind of run on them. But again, I'd love to be proven wrong for a second week in a row. I would love that. And Scottish says he thinks that because Santos is injured and we have a kicker from the practice squad elevated, 2 kickers on the active roster, that's why Booker hasn't been activated. When Santos is back, so will Booker. I really hope that they can figure something else out besides that.
I do want to make this clear.
But thank you for that information. That does make sense on its face.
I said, yeah, I think the whole Austin Booker thing, I thought this when I saw it, man. I think it was about roster. I think that it was about roster, the quantity. It was about the roster limitation that made they're doing something where they can't put him on the roster from IR yet because somebody else would have to go.
What Scottish just said makes total sense then.
Yeah. So, yeah, and bench this, I don't know, man. I don't even remember where I was going with that because once I read that kind of threw me off. But,
it was good information. I threw it out.
Yeah, for sure. And I did believe you got to believe, man, this team is aware that Austin Booker, when he's healthy and ready to go, needs to be playing it just to see if they've got like Brad Biggs reported.
You need help on the pass rush.
Well, and Brad Biggs reported on this, man. He said like early in the season they're going to see what because people are like, oh, they might sign this guy, they might sign Zadarius Smith
or trade for this guy.
Yeah. And Brad Biggs was reporting, no, they need to know that they don't have what they need in what they've got here already.
Because they've already invested so many assets into the edge rush as it is.
So it wasn't their approach wasn't who do we need to fix it, is do we have what we need already? And they haven't seen Booker.
Yeah. And I really want to fucking see him, man. So I hope that if he is healthy and they can find a way to make a roster spot for him, man. There's somebody else you can send down besides the kicker. Like, get him on the field if he's ready, man, because he showed in preseason that he can be a force to be reckoned with in that pass rush. Booker could have been activated last week. His window has a 3-week window. Yeah, I got you, man. I understand. I'm just saying, like, I'd find a way to get him on the fucking field. I think the Bears need that desperately, some more pass rush presence. And it would really help against this Saints team because I think if you can get pressure on Spencer Rattler, he's going to get rattled and you're going to see mistakes made. So that's going to be a key. Get pressure on Rattler.
And what I think, it's not a pipe dream here. I mean, this isn't like we're not pulling a guy off the practice squad. This guy you traded up for in a draft. He made a really big impact in the preseason. He looks better physically. He's bigger. He was drafted as a project player because his ceiling was pretty enticing,
like Aldon Smith type of ceiling.
So, like,
to me,
you're not just hoping that like some bum comes in and makes a difference, man. I mean, this guy is supposed to be the difference. This guy is supposed to make a difference for this football team. It would be really nice to see that Ryan Poles hit on a pass rusher because we really haven't. We haven't seen that from Ryan Poles yet.
Yeah. Cameron Grady is still hurt. He is still a DNP. As of today, he was a DNP. So I don't expect to see him. But, I mean, he's basically just a coach anyways. So hopefully he's still helping with that. I mean, I don't think we're going to see him on Sunday. So if Booker does come back and Grady is another DNP, maybe Ford goes back down and you use Turner at the tackle position and then you can get Booker onto that defensive end. You know what I'm saying? Then you can keep the 2 kickers. Ford can go Ford can go on back down. Shamar Turner just kicks on inside to that defensive tackle spot, and then Booker can get in there on the edge. But like, I don't. Is anyone losing sleep over Grady Jarrett not playing? Like, when he was playing, I just, there was nothing there, man. And it sucks to say that. Like, they just invested a lot of money into him. But
like I said last week, I'm not sure if he's healthy or if he isn't, but I'm not sure if it matters anyways. I don't know that who's to say he's even injured. Maybe the Bears are just real. I mean, he really did not.
No, Brandon. He's definitely injured. Like Grady Jarrett's a guy who's going to
No,
play.
I know that he got
Yeah.
injured, but who's to say like he's not ready to come back already, man?
If he
don't
was
know.
ready, he'd be on the field, and I don't think anybody's keeping him off the field. Grady
I
Jarrett, as a guy, as a player, and as a competitor, I'm not questioning him at all. And I don't think the Bears would be able to hold him back if he was ready.
I think he'll look better than he has, man. But you're not putting him on the field if he continues to play the way he did through the first 2 weeks he did. I mean,
yeah, but I get you. But in terms of a rotation, he can be solid. He can be a solid presence for this team on the interior. It's but again, I don't miss him. I really don't. So I just want to see Booker on the field. If that's the way to get it done, so be it. So be it. But yeah, Grady Jarrett will be back when he's healthy. I don't think there's anything to that, to be honest. Man, so I mean, keys to the game to me, get pressure on Rattler. And Dennis Allen's gonna have to design some stuff up. You're gonna have to get some blitzes drawn up. You know what I'm saying? I think really working hard to stop the run because this offensive line is very good. Just having gap integrity throughout this game. I think the fact that TJ Edwards, and we haven't talked about it at all, Brandon, you wanted to talk about it. We're at 2.5 hours. But TJ Edwards at middle linebacker, Tremaine Edmonds at will, really worked well for this team. Tremaine Edmonds performed better at will, and he did it next to TJ Edwards, who performed very well at middle linebacker.
Who should wear the green dot too?
Yeah,
so that kind of worked out anyways. Yeah.
Tremaine Edmonds, I think, is in that spot for the rest of the season as long as Edwards is healthy, and I think that Edwards needs to be in that spot, and that seemed to work really well for this defense. So can these guys just fill the gaps? The defensive line get enough push and keep their gap integrity that the guys behind it can just clean it up, and we're not getting contact with running backs 6 yards down the field. Before they get touched, they're already 6 yards down the field. That can't happen in this game on Sunday. So let's really work to establish the run and make Rattler beat you with his arm because he's going to make some mistakes, I think. As little as he turn the ball over, he'll turn it over against this defense.
Once again, be better than the guys you're better than. I think our DBs are better than their DBs are better than their receivers, and I think our offensive line is better than this defensive front.
Well, but the one thing
I think that this offensive line needs to do exactly what it did against Washington. They need to get some push.
100%. But the one thing that this secondary does have trouble with is speed, man. We've talked about that, and Shaheed has it, and so does Olave. So I mean, like if they could burn you. And Rattler can hit him. He can get him downfield. So you can't go to sleep. You got to have that safety help over the top with these guys.
And that's what Dennis Allen does. He plays quarters. He wants the safeties way back there. I think that's what's kind of burned him. Honestly, a lot of the touchdowns, not the McCaffrey one, but a lot of the touchdowns have come in those soft zones, man. Because you're putting these guys really deep. But I think this Bears team. Listen, this Bears team to me is starting to establish, maybe not an identity, maybe not, we don't know what the end result. They're starting to establish kind of where they fall. I think they lost to the two teams that I think are still better than them, and the Vikings and the Lions. And I think
the Vikings were not better than them in that game.
And maybe they're not because their quarterback. They're a better team, I think, maybe, but I don't know. Roster, I don't know, but. You're starting to see the Bears falling in line to where I think they're a better team than Vegas, talent-wise. I think they're a better team than Washington. I do, talent-wise.
Especially missing Terry McLaurin.
Especially with the injuries, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're a better team than Dallas. I think the Bears
are showing that they're going to beat the teams that they're better than.
That they should beat the Saints. I think they're showing that we can at least start saying that about them, like they are a better team than the Saints team, and they should win.
Offensively, I think Caleb Williams, this needs to be a very efficient game. Don't try to do too much. Get the ball out of your hands quick. Yep. Don't turn the ball over. Keep that pattern going, and just get the ball in the hands of these playmakers and let them rack up that yak. That's what I think will work really well against this defense, and it's shown because they're allowing us 70% completion to quarterbacks basically on the season. Caleb needs to take advantage of that, and he needs to make them pay. And I think he needs to do that by getting the ball out of his hands quick, getting it into your playmakers' hands. You saw what happened when he threw a quick little pass to DeAndre Swift, and DeAndre Swift housed it. You can do that against this Saints defense. So I would love to see that from Caleb in this game, and just kind of going forward. Honestly, like take what the defense gives you, get it out quick, and then I mean, as you establish the run, because the run design was much better on Monday night, you keep that going. Then you can start hitting them with some play action. That's when you can get Rome over the top. You can get Rome in a couple of deep ball scenarios. But Caleb's got to see it, man. As we said, Rome was running wide open on a couple of those. Caleb underthrew one that ended up falling into double coverage, basically. Caleb didn't throw one that would have been a touchdown. So, I mean, like, he's got to see it. He's got to recognize it. When those big plays present themselves, Caleb's got to take advantage of it, man. This Bears offense needs that, because that 25 points per game can turn to 29 real quick if Caleb starts completing the higher percentage of his passes. They're leaving plays on the field right now, man, and it's on Caleb to fix that to me. So I'd like to see that start to happen this Sunday as well, man, because you get as I think Shannon said it earlier in the chat, you get up a couple touchdowns on this team, man, because you're hitting on all cylinders. They're gonna quit. I mean, you're gonna have them beat. They're on the road.
Well, yeah,
You're in Chicago.
If you want to be a really good football team, you need to start scoring touchdowns when you're getting the ball handed to you by your defense. When this defense is taking the ball away, you need to capitalize and score touchdowns. That will put teams away. Then you'll force teams like Spencer Rattler to throw, and then you can capitalize more in mistakes that these teams are more likely to make. So, but Dustin, what do you call in this game? What's your score?
I think this is a game that the Bears kind of established, like, as you just said, we're a better team than you. We're at home. We're not going to let this one be close. I think this is that game. I think you just saw the last two games that, that they found ways to win, gritty efforts, hung in there till the end, and then just found a way to come away with it. I think this one, they're going to leave less doubt. I think, you're at home, inferior team in terms of talent. We've established that the Saints can hang, and then that they're a feisty 1-5. But you just got to put this team out of its misery quick. Don't breathe life into them. If you breathe life into them, you're going to be in for a shitty day, man, where you could end up losing a game you should not lose. I don't want to see that. So I think the Bears get on top of them quick, and I think they kind of just step on their throats. And I think that results in 27-13 win. I think this should be a pretty, they should win this handily and without much stress or consternation. Let's just get this done, beat this team that you're better than, get the home win, go to 4-2, move on to the next week, because you got a tough 2-game road stretch against the Ravens and the Bengals, man. Take advantage of this spot.
Yeah,
this is a big spot, and this team is showing that they have that cultural identity of like understanding the moments and understanding where they need to capitalize. I think this Sunday they do that, man, with Ben Johnson's leadership.
Yeah, I'm going to say 24-16.
So a little closer. That's a one-score game.
Well, I'm going to say that this team, the Saints team, is able to kick a lot of field goals. Because 24-16 will give them 1 touchdown, 3 field goals. I think that they're able to move the ball. The Bears let you move the ball down the field. They do. I think they're able to get field goals. I do think the Bears get a couple of takeaways in this game. But yeah, I think the score is somewhere around there. That's where the Bears' average score is falling around. That's where the Saints.
So it's going to be kind of ugly. It's going to be a little ugly, though. That's going to be a little, just like kind of still like.
Yeah, you have the Bears escaping with a win. I have the Bears at 24.
No, I understand, but I'm just saying, like, that's a one-score game. So is that like the Saints are driving the field with a chance to try to score a touchdown and get a 2-point conversion?
Let's say their touchdown is garbage time. Let's say the touchdown they score is in the final minute of the game.
So, like, that's what I'm trying to decipher. Do you think that this is a close game, or
no? I think they win this handedly.
Okay.
I think there's never a point in which I think in the second half of this game, you'll kind of know the Bears have won the game.
And that's kind of what I'm expecting. I'm expecting to feel pretty comfortable with a win.
The Saints' offense is just Olave didn't turn out to be the guy I think everyone thought he was going to be. Kamara's getting
Olave's been solid, man. What are you saying? Olave's been solid. He's got the concussion issues, but
I'm good. But Kamara's getting older. They're missing a lot.
Cameron says if it's ugly,
they have a lot of work to do.
No, for sure. There's a big talent gap, as I said, and Cameron said we got to take advantage of that. And he says if it's ugly, that means Caleb accuracy is going to be off. It would be more our mistakes than them executing. I tend to agree with you. If the Bears shoot themselves in the foot, that's one game way to keep this game close or even lose it. And if that offensive line asserts their dominance over your defensive line and they're able to run the ball down your fucking throat, and Kendre Miller's going off for 75 yards on 12 carries. Now you got a problem, and you could lose this game. That's one way they can lose this game by Caleb, not taking advantage of the plays that are on the field there, not making them, and you not being able to stop the run. That could lead to some
Yeah,
issues.
and I do want to say this, and I think I'm going to apply this to the Saints.
What are you guys' score? Cameron, Vizzo, what do you guys think? I didn't see you guys throw it out there.
I'm going to apply this to the Saints game, but it is referring back to that Washington game. It was ugly, man. I don't want to let the Bears off the hook. I mean, some of the penalties, yeah.
We let them off the hook.
Some of the penalties, not great. But the Bears had a lot of penalties. They had a lot of mistakes. They did a lot of the drop by Zacchaeus in that big moment. The penalties, the
28-17.
consistent penalties called on them.
Nice.
Caleb missed some throws. There was drops. There was penalties. It wasn't good. Like, it wasn't clean. Ben Johnson expects a lot more. You know what I mean? So that could be what kills this Bears team when they do lose games.
As
they might
good
beat themselves.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and Caleb will be the catalyst of that, Brandon. He will. That he'll be the catalyst of you establishing yourself and beating the teams that you're supposed to beat, and he'll be the catalyst of you losing games you probably should have won, I think. And let's just say this.
Don't be putting him in positions where he needs. It can't be 3rd and 12 every. You know what I mean?
You got to establish the run. Ben wants to establish the run. I think they figured that out, though. It looked like they figured it out on Monday, Brandon.
I just mean with negative plays, penalties, and stuff like that. Sacks, Caleb is much better when he's not trying to throw out a 3rd and 8. You know what I mean?
Vizzo and Cameron both threw out 28-17 Bears. Simpatico. Very nice. I like it. I was just going to say, man, I mean, as good as it felt watching that kick go through the upright, Jake Moody winning that game for the Bears, let's not forget how done it felt when the Commanders were driving and they were at midfield until Jaden Daniels just dropped that fucking ball, and it was a miracle. I mean, let's not forget that. The Bears had it and gave it up, and they should have lost. They could have lost if that play does not happen. So, there's still things the Bears got to figure out here, but you could not be in a better spot than at home against a 1-5 Saints team that, is ready to be sent packing for the season. Yes, you need to get this win here. If you don't get this win here, big problems going on the road for that 2-game stretch against the Ravens and the Bengals.
Who just won tonight, by the way.
And the Bengals, again, this season has been fucking weird, man. The Bengals just came out, and I don't think the Steelers are as good as people think they are. And I love the Steelers as a team. I always have. But, I think they got some major issues, and I think that they showed tonight. And they lost to that Bengals team, and you said they would look competent with Flacco. I said it didn't really make much of a difference. Tonight, it did. Last Sunday, it didn't. We'll see what Joe Flacco shows up. Is it the Joe Flacco that throws 3 interceptions in a game? Or is it the Joe Flacco that threw 3 touchdowns tonight?
Well, I think he's you just gotta. It's another team that they've surrounded and even paid for a lot of talent at the skill position. You just got to get those guys.
You got to get the ball in their hands. The same as Caleb needs to with this Bears roster. He needs to be a point guard. I saw somebody throw that out earlier about Penix. I think it was Cameron, actually. But, I mean, Caleb –
Once he's dropped the depth chart on the
dropped on that. Yeah, he might have. I hope he did. I want Burden in this game as much as possible on Sunday. I want to see this guy house it. I want to see Burden in the end zone on Sunday. I'm calling it. Burden gets a touchdown on Sunday. I'm just going to say that. But John S. says 26-13 Bears. We got nothing but Bears picks, and I'm seeing nothing but Bears picks from national media. So that means the Bears will definitely lose because that's what happens when everyone picks the Bears.
I hope the Saints win next week.
Well, it was this Sunday, but hey, I mean, are you a Saints fan or he says bear down? Why do you hope the Bears, the Saints win?
I think they mean the following week. Because
Okay.
that's this
Okay.
week.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We're playing. It's 2:10 in the morning. I was tired of shit when the shit started 2 hours and 40 minutes ago. Queen,
Hey,
I've never
hey,
seen you before.
thanks for joining us. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Or gal, whoever you are. Let's get
Thanks for
hit that.
joining us, Queen. Appreciate it.
Make sure you're subscribed. We appreciate y'all. This has been the bare minimum up to this point. Cameron says 9-3 Bears. I don't care how they win it, man. Honestly, just get the win. Go to 4-2. I do not give a shit. That's where I'm at, and that's all I got, man. What do you got? Anything else?
If you start this season again, and you're seeing this more often, man. Washington last season, the Patriots this season. You're seeing the new coach, new system come in, and a little more success early on. But if you're 4-2 with 4 wins in a row, well in the middle of the process of figuring out who it is and what you do best, that's really, really imperative to what the result of this season might be. Because if you figure out who you are and you start beating good football teams, which you did early in the season against the less talented teams when you were figuring yourselves out, that might be the difference, Dustin. It might, you know what I mean? If this team is
Let's see.
established an identity by the time they're playing the Packers and by the time they're playing the Lions again, are they going to be, really competitive towards the end of the season? So does it matter what they did early? I don't know.
I mean, it all matters because it all adds up to wins and losses. But you want to be playing your best football, like you said. When you get down the stretch of this division, this is going to be the toughest division in football, I think, in the NFC North. And you got some really good teams that you're going to play down the stretch. So yeah, figuring out who you are by then, pretty important. Luther Burden touchdown this Sunday. That'll be how I end it. That's all I got. This has been a lot of fun. Cameron, thank you for joining us, a new member. Queen, the new member of the chat. We had Shannon in here, a new member of the chat. John S., old faithful. He's always here with us, even when he's got back surgery. Fizzo Joe. I mean, John S. plays injured. Scottish Bear. You guys have been awesome. Shorty was in here. Shorty, praying for you and your dog, man. I hope everything's... Yeah, Shy Tex. I mean, just the
Bear, yeah.
Patty L. I mean, a bunch of awesome people in the chat tonight. As always, we appreciate you. We love you. This is 4-Star Chicago Sports. We'll be back on Monday for the House Hall Hangover and a Bears review game, and hopefully it's a victory Monday because everybody's picking the Bears to win. When do you guys meet up? Yeah, so Mondays, we're here. House Hall Hangover. What do we do? 6:30 now, right? 6:30 start time. For the House Hangover? 6? Okay, shit. 6 o'clock on Monday for House Hangover. I think they do 7 o'clock on Wednesday for the Barely There podcast, and then we're here every night, 11:30, every Thursday night, 11:30 for the bare minimum. Cameron, it's been awesome, man. I really hope you come back and join us on Monday. We get all 4 of it. Yeah, come watch all 4 of us get together. If it's a victory, it's a lot of fun. If it's a loss, it's a lot of fun because we go fucking crazy. So it'll be a lot of fun, man. Yeah, come see us on Monday. This has been the bare minimum. We are 4-Star Chicago Sports. We love y'all. Have a good morning. Have a great weekend. Bears win on Sunday. Luther Burden gets a touchdown. Brandon, bear down, bud.
Bear down. Thanks, guys.